Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. Good morning.
Good morning. Bling, bling, Shannon.
What's going on over here?
I'm all about the bling. Every day I'm about the bling. Thanks to Lil Wayne.
That looks
I got
amazing.
my Wayne necklace on now. It's my turn.
Huh.
Thank you very much. It's game over. Should we just stop the show right
Wow.
now? Because you got no shot today.
You know, your boy keep it, it keep mine on.
Oh, you got
I
it.
keep
Wait
mine
a
on
minute.
that. I keep mine.
You know, your name is just too long.
No.
it just
You
doesn't
want
You
one
extra
down.
diamonds?
You
You
want one
extra
down.
diamonds?
You need a four-letter name because
No.
people always call me four-letter names.
They call me Shay. So that's it. But he didn't go there.
Oh, really?
But you know this old Pollyanna Penny don't have hers on.
Okay.
She looks just
Hey.
fine.
I like that.
Too much. Guys, Skip, that looks great.
All
I
right,
feel
here
like
we go.
Something special is going to go on today with everyone rocking these. We have so much
not
to
the
get to
Cowboys.
on the show. How concerned should the Panthers be about Cam Newton's injury? That is unfortunately to report. And then should the Giants just go ahead and start Daniel Jones week one?
Please.
We'll
No,
go there,
no.
but we are going to start down in Miami. Dolphins head coach Brian Flores said his decision to play 8 straight Jay-Z songs in Tuesday's practice was intended to, quote, challenge wideout Kenny Stills, wanting the receiver to be able to ignore outside distractions. This came after Stills was critical of Jay-Z's new role with the NFL. Jay-Z told reporters it was time to move past kneeling when asked about Colin Kaepernick, and Stills took exception to this, saying Jay-Z is not a player and has never been on a knee. Stills also said Jay-Z's comments discredited Colin Kaepernick's protests and work. So, Shannon, what do you make of Flores' explanation on this?
A challenge for who, Skip? Skip, this is what he said. He said it was a challenge for to Kenny to perform regardless of what's going on outside. I would say that he hasn't performed up to the level of the course of training camp. So that's the challenge, to get open, to catch the football, make plays for your team. So if you feel this way, why not do this before this alleged beef with Jay-Z? Do you feel this is the only way that you can motivate him? So let me get this correct, Brian Flores. If I'm having problems at home with my girlfriend or wife, you gonna bring her ass to practice? Because you want me to, Skip, I gotta get past everything now, remember?
That's a fair point.
He sounds ridiculous. We know what this is about. This is about making sure Kenny Stills stay in line, because it seems like he was trying to appease one guy he was supporting one guy, Skip, as opposed to supporting the other guy. That's what it sounds like to me. Skip, this Jay-Z. Now, he knows this man has a problem with some of the things that Jay-Z said. I don't know if he has a problem with Jay-Z itself, but some of the things that he said. And so you choose this way to motivate him. That's the only way you know, huh? You didn't bring him in and talk to him. Did you have a conversation? Kenny, what's going on, bro? You got something going on? Because the Kenny Stills that I know, that I've coached against over the last several years, this is not the Kenny Stills that I see.
That is true.
You could
Hasn't played up to the old Kenny Stills.
say that.
Okay.
Find something. But now, after this, you wait to this moment to say, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. Oh, you got beef. You're not focused. You're not practicing. You're not practicing the way and making plays that I think you can. Oh, you got to beef with Jay-Z. Okay, I'm going to play 8 straight Jay-Z songs. Skip, this is ridiculous.
8 straight.
8 straight. Really? Really,
Message.
Skip? I mean, come on, Brian. You're going to have to do a better job. I hate when you have to motivate. But sometimes you do, Skip. Every guy's not self-motivated, and certain guys have different stimuli that gets them motivated. Some guys, you can pat them on the back. Some guys, you got to kick in the butt. And some guys, you just got to ride. The main job of the coach is to find out what stimuli works best for each individual player.
That's true.
But for me, if Kenny Stills had not been performing, at what point did you pull him aside and say, Kenny, I need you to play better? Was it before or after he had this beef with Jay-Z that you decided, you know what, this is how I'm going to motivate him? Skip, I don't buy it for 1 second. I can see through this. It might be true, but I don't believe it is. I believe Brian Flores did this for a reason and not for the reason that he alleges.
I agree. I think this cut deeply into Brian Flores. And I'm going to remind everyone, he's a first-year head coach. He's only 38 years of age. And Remember, Kenny Stills is now 27, so their cultural age gap is not great.
Right.
It's just 11 years. So I'm going to also remind everybody, even though Brian Flores is not really cut from the same cultural cloth as Bill Belichick,
Right.
he grew up under Bill.
He's on that tree.
He watched Bill occasionally grandstand in different ways, send messages in different glaring ways to Malcolm Butler during the Super Bowl.
Correct.
Your ass is on the bench. I'm going with my guy that I stole from Philadelphia, Eric Rowe, and we're still going to win this game. You know what happened there, but that's a whole nother story. He watched, even here recently, Bill Belichick just flat out cut the punter who could have been the MVP of the Super Bowl because he drafted a kid. He felt like he stole him in the 5th round out of Stanford, and he said, this kid will be a better punter than that kid was. So Brian Flores, this was a grandstand move. It was in Kenny Stills' face, and I'm going to go a cut deeper. Even though it may have been to motivate, and you say it's the wrong way to motivate, maybe that was the superficial reason here.
Correct.
That he's just not playing up to Kenny Stills, and maybe he's saying, you're so distracted by all of your social media, what's the best word, campaigning, your
Social media presence. I mean, he spends a lot
he's
of
just
time.
so caught up in it because he's constantly reacting and reading to social media.
Right.
Maybe he's saying that your head is so in there that we've lost you on this football team.
Okay.
Now, is that the way to get his head back into football with 8 straight Jay-Z songs? I don't think so either, which is why I'm going a cut deeper here. Brian Flores also said to the media in explaining what he was doing that he said, quite honestly, they, meaning Cap, Kenny, Eric Reed, they're bringing attention to my story because he thinks he lived the story harder than they lived the story. Brian Flores grew up in the Brownsville section of Brooklyn, about 3 miles from where Jay-Z grew up in Bed-Stuy. 2 rough neighborhoods. So Brian Flores goes on telling the media, I'm a son of immigrants. I'm black. I grew up poor. I grew up in New York during the stop and frisk era. So I've been stopped, blah, blah, blah. And he goes into the whole thing and he said, I applaud those guys for what they are doing, but I don't know how many people have, but I have lived it in ways even you in South rural Georgia did not live that kind of, of upbringing. Okay? So he's saying he relates to Jay-Z, and I'm going to bet you he's a big Jay-Z fan.
Right.
And I think he took it a little personally that Kenny would dare to have the audacity to take a shot at Jay-Z, which he had just done the day before these songs were played.
Right.
Am I right?
I agree.
Okay. So he's saying, so guys in the locker room are still counting on Kenny to get open, catch the football, and perform for this team. And that's the superficial reason. But I'm going one cut deeper, and tell me if I'm wrong because this is my 2 cents from a distance. I think he was offended that Kenny Stills, who grew up in Carlsbad, California, which is about 35 miles just north of San Diego, so it's deep Southern California, and I do not know Carlsbad, so I don't know his economic plight or existence, you know, the upbringing.
Right.
It could have been pretty rough. Was it Brownsville or Bed-Stuy? Probably not. Probably not. I don't know that for a fact, but again, I know Kenny Stills well enough to know. I think he grew up, he was well-raised, he's well-mannered, he's very well-spoken. I think Brian is saying, basically, who the hell are you to criticize Jay-Z, okay?
Skip, this is where I would push back with Brian Flores because Ben Franklin had a famous quote. He says, change comes about when the unaffected is equally as impacted as those that are affected. So even though Kenny Stills did not go through that, he's willing to fight for it.
He is.
Because if you only get guys, you only get a person or people that have only experienced that, or they're the only ones that's willing to fight, it's going to be a very short fight. A very short fight.
Okay. So, is it possible that Brian Flores just acted out of anger just to put Kenny back in his place? Do you see that?
That could possibly be. Because he's like, I agree, you know, because he was, early on, he said, Skip, you know, I agree, you know, Kenny makes some compelling points, but he should have reached out to Stephen Ross first. Although Stephen Ross didn't reach out to Kenny Stills and say, you know, I'm holding this fundraiser for President Trump. So you want him to afford a courtesy that he wasn't afforded. Skip, it sounds like to me that Brian Flores wants Kenny Stills to get in line with what
Okay.
we know where he wants them to go.
Maybe. So Kenny Stills' reaction was bafflement. Like, what? I don't really get what he's trying to do.
Right.
So Kenny's reaction was, for the most part, I think it was him seeing if I could handle if people are going to heckle me or play Jay-Z in another stadium.
Right.
If I could be mentally strong enough to handle that sort of treatment. Yeah, he will be.
Right.
He'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Kenny's been campaigning. He's been trailblazing for a long time. He's been doing this for, 5 years.
I think the thing is, Skip, plus you can imagine what he receives on his social media.
Oh,
you probably
he's
can
talking
imagine
about the death threats.
Right, you can imagine what he receives in some places that he go publicly. So it's hard for me to imagine that playing a Jay-Z song over the loudspeaker would have a greater impact than him receiving death threats or some of the comments that he's receiving on social media. It's just hard for me to believe that. And it seems that he's been dealing with this cap thing kicked off in 2016, and he's been, front and center ever since then, and he's still been performing. So clearly, it has not impacted him like Brian Flores. But Skip, if you're not careful here, you see how this thing is trending, right? Now, when they release Kenny Stills, what is it going to be? Because, he wasn't performing well. They've already building this thing in that Kenny Stills is not playing like Kenny Stills we know.
Yet, Brian Flores went way out of his way to talk about how much he applauds what they're all doing. Like, he's talked about Cap, Eric Reed, Kenny. He said, I even told Kenny in our meeting in front of the entire team how much I believe in what he's doing. And again, back to the first quote from him that I read, quite honestly, they're bringing attention to my story. I just think he was offended that Kenny took a shot at Jay-Z. And I'm not sure that I'm with you that he's just trying to get him to be in line because of the owner, Stephen Ross. I think this is more personal on Brian's part, but that's just me.
Okay. I won't fight you on that, but like I said, he didn't have to add that part, Skip, that he should have reached out to the owner first. He could have left that part out. And once he says, okay, you could have reached out to him, the owner knew how Kenny Stills. He's been fighting for the guy that you're supporting from day one.
Nothing new.
Yes.
Totally agree.
So what? And Kenny said, why would I reach out to him? I already know. I've already had a conversation with him, several conversations. I know where he stands. He knows where I stand. It just feels like we're just spinning our wheels. We just like, we're going to agree to disagree. And that's the terminology that he used. And that's why Kenny's like, I'm not going to reach out to you because I already know how you feel and where you stand.
Okay, well, this next story, guys, is important to address given what we just talked about. Panthers safety Eric Reid delivered a late hit straight to the head of Patriots tight end Ben Watson last night. Now, Reid was flagged for unnecessary roughness, and thankfully, Watson was able to walk off the field on his own. Reid faced questions after the game if the hit was intentional after he recently had a disagreement with Watson. Reid was quoted over the weekend asking if any good has come from a recent deal that the Players Coalition had in place with the league for national and local projects. Watson, who is involved with the Players Coalition, responded on Twitter telling Reid he was wrong. Another angle. Shannon, did Reid's hit on Watson, did it look intentional to you?
Skip, it's hard to determine intent because you have to get in someone's mens rea. You have to get into their mindset. And intent only matters, Skip, to the individual that's committed the act. I had a professor that asked me one time, he said, Shannon, do you know the difference between murder and manslaughter? And I'm like, I couldn't, Skip, I was a freshman. No. He says it's intent. But Ben Watson still has a headache, whether Eric Reid meant to do it or not. His head still hurts this morning. It just, whether he intended it or not, he made no effort to pull up. Ben Watson's on the ground, Skip. I mean, what did he think? He thought that no one touched him and that Ben could get up and run. Ben was down. And he hit him in the head. I think this has more to do with the coalition and how Ben Watson is very involved in the Players Coalition. And Eric Reid feels like he and Cap has been pushed aside. And a lot of the work that they started has been co-opted by this new Players Coalition. And Eric Reid has taken offense to that. I don't know if Eric Reid saw Ben Watson's quote. I don't know. But I do know how Eric Reid feels about some of the guys in the Players Coalition, Malcolm Jenkins, and some of these other guys. So I think that had a lot to do with it. He knew to say that he didn't know that was Ben Watson. I don't believe he can't convince me that he didn't know that was Ben Watson. and he went directly for the head,
He
Skip.
did.
So I'm not going to say, well, I'm intending to hit him, but he did not. He intended to hit him. I don't know if he intended to hit him in his head, but that doesn't matter. Intent doesn't matter. The victim is just as injured whether you meant to do it or not, because intent only matters to the individual that's committing the act. Because Ben Watson, his head hurts just as much this morning whether he meant to do it or not.
Correct. I had two reactions to this. I watched it live, and then I read about the backstory, and I slept on it, and I reacted again when I woke up this morning and saw the play again on the highlight shows, again and again and again. My first reaction was there has been an open rebellion on the part of lots of players and some coaches, and we're going to talk about this a little later in the show, against preseason football, period.
Right.
They just don't want to play it anymore, to the point something's going to have to give here because the owners are still charging the same prices.
Exactly.
And it just gets worse and worse. And obviously, the trigger for all this is just preseason senseless, needless injuries. Why should you inflict these injuries upon your players in games that don't count?
Right.
Well, we can debate that all day long,
Right.
because they do count in a way, because they count toward game one, but that's a whole nother issue.
And the thing was,
okay?
Skip, they've always played preseason. They've always been, but now all of a sudden,
Yeah.
we seem more concerned now than we ever were before.
When I was growing up, they had 6 preseason
Yes.
games. Think about that, 6.
You went away for a long period of time.
Okay? So I'm watching this play live, and I've followed Ben Watson's career for a long time, and he's now 38 years old, and he will be 39 in December, and he is considered an elder statesman
He
in
is.
the game.
Very well
Can I go
respected.
highly respected?
Very.
I think so.
Very
Okay.
highly.
Very, okay.
So I'm thinking, I'm watching number 84 for the New England Patriots, Benjamin Watson, catch a pass, go down defenseless, and I see Eric Reed fly in late and seem to go for his head.
Right.
Right? And I'm thinking, Eric Reed, what are you doing? Not only is this a preseason game, and not only are many of your brethren within the league having issues with getting hurt, but now you're playing over the edge,
Right.
taking a late shot, even if it was unintended. At that point, I didn't know about any intent. I just thought he was sort of playing out of control,
Right.
like it was reckless behavior
Okay.
on his part. In, albeit the quote unquote, it used to be the dress rehearsal game 3. I think that's passe now.
Right,
I don't think
yeah.
they're even saying this is our dress rehearsal.
Right.
They're just saying we're trying to get through game 3,
Right.
and game 4 is going to be our 4th stringers,
Right.
or whoever,
Yes.
nobody who's going to make our team is going to play game 4.
Yeah, let's
right?
get through these 4
Yeah.
meaningless games
Yes.
as easily as possible.
Okay, so it was very offensive to me that Eric Reed would allow that reckless behavior on that play against an elder statesman in a game that doesn't count.
Right.
And I just was, this had nothing to do with racial issues. I'm just thinking, what are you doing? Then I read the backstory.
Yeah.
And now I can't help but be at least highly suspicious
Right.
that there was intent, because Eric Reed takes this blood seriously.
Right.
Right? This
It's
whole
e-
cause.
Eric Reed made it easier to make that leap that this was intentional
Yes.
because of the backdrop, because of the Players Coalition,
Correct.
and because of some of the things that he said on Twitter, and Ben Watson responded by saying, "You're wrong."
Okay, so I'm going to remind people that this has been about 4 years ago. Benjamin Watson wrote a book, and it's a long title, but I'm going to read it because it's significant. The book is called Under Our Skin: Getting Real About Race and Getting Free from the Fears and Frustrations That Divide Us. And it was a positive look at black-white relations. How can we improve them? It was all in the vein and mode of, how can we make this better? This is what, it's for both black and white people. For the white people, this is what you don't understand about us. That was sort of the theme and spirit of the book. So his background is not dissimilar from yours. He's Rock Hill, South Carolina.
yeah.
So it's,
I know where it is.
okay, you got it. And he went to Georgia, and you almost went to Georgia, but you're from rural South Georgia,
I
obviously.
think he started at Duke, though, Skip.
Did he?
I think he
Okay.
might have started
I'm
at Duke
not
and
even
then
sure. He
and
finished
transferred
at
to Georgia.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but
okay.
that's an interesting note. And he has been very outspoken about his Christian faith,
He
just
has.
for the record.
Yeah,
And
he has.
so this is where he's coming from, and he's Players Coalition. How can we work with the league to fix this?
Right.
And you can have your issues because you can say, quote unquote, they give up too much. They
Right.
compromise too freely and quickly. But remember, the NFL did dedicate millions of dollars, right, to social justice sort of reform platforms and any endeavors within the community. So he's saying, hey, we're at least making a little bit of progress. And Eric Reed is saying, well, progress this because I'm going to hit you in the head. and it got me because he stung him to the point Ben Watson couldn't get up.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure he's in concussion protocol. He'd have to be.
Yes.
Because he was wobbly coming off the field.
Well, my thing is, and he said he didn't want to get anybody hurt. Well, the one way you're not to hurt somebody is make sure you don't hit them in the head. And Skip, I understand that there have been times that in the game where if I try to catch a pass and I duck, the guy's coming in, he thinks he's going to hit me in the chest. I'm bracing because I know he's coming. I duck into a blow. I'm not upset. But that right there, I believe that could have been avoided. Skipping, I think it was my last year in Minnesota. I was running a seam route, and the safety put his helmet right up under my chin. And he's like, my bad. Are you okay? I'm like, hell no, I ain't okay. You hit me under my chin full speed. What you think? You hit that man, is he all right? No, he's not all right. You just hit him in his head.
Okay, so now we get down to the code of NFL brethren. Is it superseded by any race issue that you would have, even if it's black man to black man?
No, for me, Skip, especially in a preseason game.
That's what I'm saying.
Skip, I'm not trying. Look, and we were notorious. We got on people's ankles and knees, but in the preseason game, I wasn't doing any of that. I'm not. Come on, you didn't have to do this. You didn't have to do this. You hit the man in the head.
Even though, Eric Reed is quote unquote willing to die for this cause. He's willing to sacrifice his career. He hasn't yet, but he seemed willing to, right?
Well, I ain't trying to die on the football field because you hit me in my head.
I got it.
Okay, that's a very worthy cause, and I'm all with you. And I think Eric Reed has done some great things, but I don't agree with everything that he does. I believe this hit could have been avoided. And something that can be avoided, we should try to avoid it, because at the end of the day, he's trying to provide for his family as you're trying to provide for yours, because you have to understand what goes around comes around. Sometimes you'll be standing around and then somebody dives into your knee and then you talk about that was uncalled for. Well, you had a play in the preseason that was uncalled for. So just be careful, because we must protect. It's a very physical game, and you have to protect one another.
If you had been a teammate of Benjamin Watson's last night, how would you have reacted?
I'd have yelled something on the field.
Okay, Eric Reed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
That was some bull. You know what? Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
yes.
I don't know if those words were uttered. It wasn't visibly, I didn't see anybody visibly go after him.
Oh, yeah. Nah, you're not finna cheap shot, man. I don't care preseason, all that. Nah, you're not finna cheap shot my guy.
Reed did say that he didn't know. He tweeted at him that it's not something you're thinking about during the game. He was,
Did he not know that was Ben Watson?
Exactly.
Did he not know he had beef with Ben Watson?
Exactly, that's what
So
I'm
whether or
saying.
not Skip
knew.
Exactly.
Yeah, he knew. He knew they'd be asking. Important to talk about, guys. But also, last night we saw more from Daniel Jones.
Whoa,
Is it time to start Jones
Yes.
in New York?
Stop it.
Bring
You
it
got
on.
ulterior
We're
motives.
Here we go.
saying it. We're going to go there next. Don't forget, you can check us out every day on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM. We'll be right back.
No mercy.
Giants rookie quarterback Daniel Jones continues to impress this preseason. Jones went 9 for 11 for 141 yards against the Bengals last night. In the preseason, he is now 25 of 30 for 369 yards, 2 TDs, and has yet to throw an interception.
Wow.
Jones also made, headlines when Baker Mayfield was critical of the Giants picking the QB 6th overall in the draft. After the game, head coach Pat Shurmur talked confidently about his rookie quarterback's development. Take a listen.
That's what we thought he was when we drafted him. It's fun. About every 6 or 7 days now I've been able to tell you that's what we saw when we drafted him. So I think he just has a feel for playing the position, and he's getting, he's steadily getting better every time he takes the field, whether it's practice or games. And so that's what you're looking for from a young player, and certainly a guy as talented as Daniel is. Like I said, you can ask me all you want about why I like him. I think it's time to start asking the people that didn't like him what they think.
Well, Shannon, Shurmur start Daniel Jones over Eli week 1.
Skip, I thought they don't listen to what goes on. I think they don't hear anything. I'm in here so much, I don't know what's going on from day to day.
No time.
But all of a sudden, you know what everybody said about your selection of Daniel Jones. No, Skip, they should not start Daniel Jones. Skip, it's really hard to evaluate a quarterback like this, especially when he's playing against backups. And I know a lot of rookies, and everybody said, well, Daniel Jones is a rookie. But all rookies aren't created equal. He was taken with the 6th pick in the draft. A lot of these guys are not going to be on the opening day roster. Daniel Jones, we know one thing, whether he starts or not, he's going to make the Giants opening day roster, Skip. I look at this, I think it's going to be a very similar situation between Kurt Warner and Eli Manning. Skip, you remember how Eli was the #1 overall pick and they started Kurt Warner for the first 9 games? Even when they were losing some of the games, they would bring Eli in. And then eventually they moved to Eli. Because Kurt Warner was a 2-time league MVP. He was a Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl winner. You just can't replace, because you can always go to, if Eli struggles, you could always go to Daniel Jones. But if Daniel Jones struggles, come on, how that's going to make Eli? Eli's built up cachet. There's a reason why they're holding on to him, Skip. This is not an easy thing. Now, we're going to talk about Haskins later, but that situation with him and Keenum is entirely different than this situation with Daniel Jones and Eli Manning, because Eli Manning is a 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Okay.
That's the kind of you kind of get that when the guy has that kind of medal.
Case Keenum through the Minnesota Miracle.
But if you Skip, he did, Skip. But yesterday we talked about the flukiest seasons. Now, Dak Prescott, your guy, had the 10th flukiest season in the 99 year history of the NFL.
Case Keenum
had number what?
#1.
Exactly. So we know what he is. But I believe, Skip, they're going to start Eli Manning. And at some point in time, Daniel Jones will be the starter for the New York Giants. Especially, and how soon, we don't know. But I don't believe that Daniel Jones will start the season. But I do believe he will finish the season as the starting quarterback for the Giants.
Before I address your opinion, I'm gonna go with the positive first.
Okay.
Glass half full.
Okay.
I'm astounded by how Daniel Jones has played. I am in awe of how well he has performed under extreme pressure in the Big Apple with
Very
that kind
good
of
point.
scrutiny and negativity placed on his shoulders.
Yeah.
I can also make the case that the negativity was so severe that everyone was so skeptical to the point of condemnation that it took some pressure off him, like, what do I have to lose? I'll just go out here and wing it.
Right.
And he obviously is in that golden position of having a coach and a GM who have sunk their credibility in him. Their whole future they have invested in him. And so it's like Andy Reid with Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
You're going to do everything in your power to make him look the best he can do, and you're going to defend him at every turn the best you can defend him, right?
That's another situation. Mahomes, Skip, with the 10th pick in the draft, and they let check down Alex Smith
they did.
for the for a whole season.
For a whole year. But when I look at these numbers, preseason or postseason, it just doesn't even matter what that. This could be in your backyard. If you go 25 of 30, that's 83%, with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. That's good.
Yeah.
And what was even great last night, at least preseason great, was, did you notice the play on which he got rocked the way I've rarely seen a quarterback get rocked in a preseason game? If we could see that sack, it was Carl Lawson got loose around the side and just obliterated him. Look at this. Okay. That's the next play. Yeah. This is the next play. If we could go back to the...
And that's what you're talking about. He get rocked in one play and then stand there in the next play.
He got annihilated. If you see it from the back, they had it on NFL Network. He gets sandwiched and just sort of, cut in half almost.
Sure. Right.
Okay. So then he comes right back the next play and throws it down to the 1-yard line.
That's what you want.
That's what you want. That's guts and that's toughness. And Shermer talked about that after that. That's a high requisite for playing this position. So all that is tremendous. And I told you, I did not study Daniel Jones, but I watched 2 Duke games last year, and I just didn't notice him. Right. I'm sorry. And I know he's got the measure. He's 6'5", 221. He ran a 4.8 40, which is pretty good. Yeah. He's got some athletic ability to him, and he's got just an okay arm. Again, when
he got an arm better than Eli. You see the ball. You look at the ball the way it comes out of his hand. It spins, and what comes out of Eli, it flutters.
Again, I don't think Daniel Jones has a cannon.
No.
But it's just can I give it a little above average, maybe average NFL?
Well, we know this, Skip. His arm is better than Eli's.
Okay,
is
right
currently.
now, I'm with you.
Okay.
But by the way, speaking of Eli, could we quickly see the play on which remember, Eli's starting all these games, and Eli on this one run play, watch this.
Get him live.
Look at Eli. Look at him lead it. He's running interference.
See?
Shielded. Would you think you would ever see Eli Manning in a preseason game run down the field and try to shield off the safety?
And if I was that safety, guess what? You would never see that again because I'd have saw Eli on his butt. And the next time,
Okay, why did he do that last
Yeah.
night? Because he is desperately struggling to keep his
Yes.
job.
Oh,
Am
yeah.
I right?
Yeah, that young
Okay,
lion coming.
that was the most shocking play of
Yeah.
the night to me, was that he did that.
Skip.
Okay.
They took the Skip. Daniel Jones isn't a third-round pick. He's not a second-round pick. Even if you take a first rounder, you take him late. Skip. He was the 6th pick in the draft. Eli knows what that represents.
Okay, so you were shocked by that pick. I was dumbfounded by that pick. Baker Mayfield was.
Can't believe it.
He
we
couldn't
all
even
were.
believe
Couldn't
it,
believe it.
right? What was his next word? He was.
I can't believe they took that guy.
He was just
Shocked,
like.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
What was
it?
shocked.
What was it?
Right?
Exactly. Shocked.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the point is, almost every analyst I know was stunned. Maybe every analyst I saw was stunned by this pick to the point of condemnation. Like, this is just wrong, right?
But guess what, Skip?
Okay.
The difference is we can be wrong and keep our job. If Dave Gettleman and Shermer are wrong,
That's a fact.
they're not keeping their job. So you can go laugh at us all you want. Ask the people that didn't like the pick. We can be wrong and keep our job. You be wrong and see what happens, and you'll be right over here with us.
So last night, Sherman was really feeling himself.
You say
And-
you think?
He was basically telling the whole room of reporters, if not everybody listening around the world, well, I told you so, right? I told you he was this good. Good. Not see anything that shocks me. Maybe some of you should start thinking about, were you wrong? That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
Were you wrong? Right?
I mean,
Okay.
but Skip. He's coached long enough and been around the game. His daddy was a lifer. He knows, Skip, that you can't get too high, especially off preseason game. He's setting the kid up for failure. So now when he comes out there and he doesn't put up those numbers, then what? What's he going to say?
Yeah.
He's going to say, well, he's a young guy. That's not what you said last night.
Yeah, this kid has become like a son to him. By the way, his son played for my Vanderbilt Commodores last year.
Right.
And, I'm not sure he's going to make it in the league, but he's trying to hang in and make a roster. But the point is, Daniel Jones, if you're that sold on Daniel Jones, then I'm going to dare Shermer to just start him.
No, Skip. I
Okay,
know what
well,
you're trying to do.
okay,
Everybody sees what you're trying to do.
Okay, I'm not trying to do anything, although I would like to see him at Jerry World
Yeah,
in
I
game
bet
one.
that's
I
what you're
would.
trying to
I'm
do.
sure you
That's
would.
what you're
Well,
trying to do.
If he's that good,
No.
if he's your future, I'm not varying on this one. I've told you from day one on this show, remember, speaking of Manning, did Peyton Manning start from game one?
Yes.
Did Troy Aikman start when he was a rookie? I know he shared some with Steve Walsh, but yes, he did.
Yes.
They just threw him into the
Yes.
fire. And Troy took some incredible beatings. Okay? Did those two live through it?
Yeah.
Okay? Did it speed their growth in the National Football League? Yes. If this kid is that tough, if he's that talented, just let him take some lumps. Let him just throw him into the fire. Where are you going with Eli Manning? Nowhere.
You're not going there.
Where have you gone with him for the last?
You gonna go back in the draft. If he starts the whole season, he gonna go back into the draft
All right.
with a high draft pick.
Okay,
That's where
so
you're gonna
so
go.
I dare Shermer to put his money where his mouth is.
No,
I want to know.
Sure, don't listen to it.
Yeah, well,
he's
come
trying.
on.
He's trying to coach you into something because he's thinking that if Zeke's not there, he wants to get a cheap, easy win. It's not gonna happen, Skip. Everybody can see what you're doing.
Okay.
Oh, I dare you to start.
No, you're
it.
not going to like that one.
I'm admitting I would like to see it.
I know you
but,
would.
But
Why?
he's telling everybody you're all wrong. Okay, if we're wrong, show us that you're right.
We'll show you you're wrong at a later date and time.
Why?
Not opening day.
Why not?
Because Eli gonna do this for you.
Okay, see, you're declaring your feelings, right?
What?
Because you just don't want to see Dallas get an easy dub.
No, I
Right?
don't. And Eli gonna make sure that you guys don't get an easy dub.
Well,
I want to know what
yeah.
Eli is thinking
Oh,
right now.
Saquon might have 2 bills on you guys.
really?
How's he
Okay, well,
handling
he
all
can have them.
this?
Oh, if he get 2 bills, y'all losing.
Yeah. No, he had some yards last
Ooh,
year.
long TD run. Had a long run on y'all, did he, Skip?
Yeah, we won those games pretty easy.
But Eli
Is that what it is?
gonna be a little better this year. But I don't think he's gonna be able to hold off Daniel Jones. Skip, once you put Daniel Jones in there, you let him. He's got to be the guy moving
Okay?
forward.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
No.
Just go with
Skip,
it.
no.
I know, but if you're so sure of yourself,
He's not.
what's the downside?
Skip, we've all seen that old
Okay.
fake bravado.
Well, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're saying it's fake bravado?
Yeah. Oh,
He doesn't really believe what he's saying?
He believes that Daniel Jones is good, but he doesn't believe Daniel Jones is good to start week one. That's a whole being good to start week one. Skip, he ain't Peyton. He ain't Andrew Luck. There are very few guys. Skip, there have been more guys that's a high draft pick at the quarterback position that didn't start week one.
Okay.
Than opposed to Carson Palmer sat the whole year. Patrick Mahomes sat the entire season except the last game where they had sold everything up and they didn't want take a chance with Alex Smith. That was it. Do you believe Daniel Jones will be as good in his first 2 years as Pat Mahomes? No.
You're saying that now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Last bit of objectivity.
Yes.
Oh,
Just for the record, he has yet to start a game because in all the preseasons, Eli would start and take a series or 2 series, right? So the odds are, given the rebellion by most coaches against the preseason, the odds are that Daniel Jones went 25 of 30 against a lot of second teamers,
Okay.
Yes.
maybe third teamers,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Good to put that in
Maybe.
perspective.
some of the guys that's not going to be on opening day rosters. That's all rookies aren't created equal.
Yep.
Clearly, I mean, you're the 6th pick in the draft. You're going to be some of these. He's going against guys Skip that are free agents that are drafted in the 6th and 7th round.
Okay.
That's not to say they can't turn out to be good, but normally when you go that low in the draft, Skip, they're not expecting a whole lot. Maybe you'll be a special teams guy.
All right.
They expect this guy to be a cornerstone, a franchise quarterback.
Okay.
You made a good point, though, Skip, given the circumstances with Daniel Jones. Could he look any better, considering the pressure, considering all eyes on him? He's rising to the occasion.
Stellar.
He's taking the opportunity and he's making us think about it.
If you want to make something look good, what you do, you put makeup on it. So if you want to make Daniel Jones look good, what you do, you put him out there against
Some say
twos and fews,
Okay.
backups to backups.
That's probably true.
So let's not get.
Okay.
Okay.
Put him out there. Put him out there.
brakes,
Put him
pump
out
the
there
brakes.
in week one and watch. What's his name? Chris Richard, and watch what he do to him.
Okay.
Blitz him into oblivion.
I'm looking
That's
forward
what
to
you
this
want.
next
You
one.
think you're slick, Skip Bayless. You sit up there and talk about start him. I dare you to start him. You think
Well, I
you're
dare.
slick.
Well, you heard him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did that.
He was daring us,
was-
so I dare him back.
I wasn't listening.
Okay.
I'm
You're not listening?
No,
'Cause
Okay, you're gonna have
afraid
to
you're gonna
listen.
lose like a swimming pool of Diet Mountain Dew.
not an opening day.
Cowboys,
If he starts, the bet is off.
Okay.
I just want you to know.
Can you listen in for this next one, Shannon?
Okay,
Because we're
what's
talking
that?
about Tom Brady. He looked sharp as ever against the Panthers last night. The 42-year-old QB went 8 for 12 for 75 yards, but he wasn't only doing it with his arm. On 3rd and 3, Brady ran for a first down to keep the drive alive that would lead to the only touchdown of the game. After Brady came out, instead of veteran QB Brian Hoyer coming in, Belichick put in rookie Jared Stidham. Stidham played the remainder of the game, going 15 of 19 for 134 yards, no picks. So, Shannon, what did you see from Brady and Stidham last night?
It was Tom Brady. See, this notion that all of a sudden Tom Brady's going to come into a game one day and he's going to look like Tim Tebow throwing the football. I think that's what everybody's thinking. No, it doesn't happen like that, Skip. You know that.
Boy, Tim Tebow threw the heck out of him some. I don't know.
There
Figured
you
you'd
go.
say
You know what,
that.
Skip Bayless?
I mean, he had some games where he just lit it up.
This notion that all of a sudden Tom Brady plunges into the Potomac is not gonna. That's not realistic, Skip. You know that it's a gradual process. It's a misthrow here, a misthrow there, a misread. All of a sudden, things are not. He's not the Tom Brady, and you will notice it.
You would see a little slow on the draw, like the release would get a little slower. The velocity would start to dip a little bit. Did you see that last night?
But you saw what did Pro Football Focus say? What did they start? You read it. What did they start with, Jenny? It said he took a step back. That's what they say. That's what they said. Now, them some smart guys, Skip. I'm just telling you what they said. But anyway,
telling you
stop
what
interrupting.
I saw.
Well,
I didn't
with
see a
your
step
turn, you
back.
can tell.
Yeah.
I don't believe he's. Look, it's going to be gradual. My only thing is that look, when Brady has the football in a tuck position and he takes one step over the line of scrimmage, why are you not blasting him? You look at the difference. Now, Brady was going down in 57 for the Carolina Panthers, did everything he could not to hit him.
It's preseason.
I don't care no preseason. But,
Unwritten rules.
oh, look, Skip, I'm not saying hit him while he's down.
Hit him in the head. That's
No,
what you want.
no, don't hit him in his head. I mean, because he. But when he steps one, I'm talking about if he steps like life, if he puts one toe over that line, I want you to blast it.
Okay.
I want you to blast him.
Well,
you have my permission.
It's fair game.
Yes.
The rules
But
allow
why
it.
won't they do it?
I don't know. Maybe they're afraid of him.
Were you worried?
Maybe they have respect for him as opposed to somebody across the table.
Maybe.
Skip. He's a quarterback. He's a quarterback when he's in a quarterback position. He's in the pocket. Once he tucks that ball, he's a running back, and he should be treated as such, severely and harshly punished for running, doing something he shouldn't do.
Okay, you finished?
Yeah.
My turn.
Please.
Thank you very much. My two biggest takeaways from last night was, ho-hum, Tom Brady looked as sensational as ever.
Goodness, Skip.
I saw at least the arm strength I've seen his whole career, and I saw lightning release last night. I also saw Bill Belichick then go to Brian Hoyer, the backup quarterback. No, he went straight to Jared Stidham once again. So my second takeaway, and my more important takeaway, is that Bill Belichick is fast-tracking Jared Stidham to replace Tom Brady. And he'd like to do it sooner than later. And obviously, the most realistic game plan for Belichick would be next year he wants Jared Stidham to be the starter.
Right.
Okay, so does that mean Tom's going to be forced out the back door? Or will Robert Kraft have to step in and slap Bill's wrist once again and say, what are you thinking? After they win yet another Super Bowl.
Well, we might have to leave.
Yeah. Who's we?
Me and
Oh,
Coach
Bill,
Belichick.
you and Coach
Oh,
Belichick.
yeah?
Oh, so maybe Belichick will finish his career coaching elsewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Take our show on the road.
Didn't
Skip,
realize.
I
Maybe
agree
he
with you.
could coach my Cowboys.
Oh, you want to coach the Cowboys?
That's been
That would
rumored.
work?
Yeah.
Skip, I can't say that I disagree with you because if you think about it, Brian Hoyer is there. I mean, they traded for him when they made the move to get Garoppolo, and for all of a sudden, it's like, you know what? Nah, Brian, you good. Stidham, you're up. Now, one of two things going to happen, Skip. Either they're going to move Hoyer or they're going to release him, because Coach Belichick likes good, inexpensive players. That's why they did that with the punter.
Okay. Yep. All right.
Stidham is very, very
He
inexpensive.
is certainly that.
And if I feel like, and he likes fast-tracking guys, Skip, because like I said before, Coach Belichick believes it's his system.
Remember, when he had Garoppolo, he still had Jacoby Brissett.
Right.
So they went 3 deep.
Right.
And now you're suggesting he'd just go 2?
Because it doesn't make it, because all those guys was on rookie contracts. You got to realize Hoyer is a vet, and he was making more than both Garoppolo and Brissett at the time in which they were doing what they're doing.
Yep.
So I definitely can see them moving on from Brian Hoyer.
Well, to me, Brian Hoyer might just be the best backup quarterback in football, and it's a close 1-2 between him and Josh McCown, who is now a Philadelphia Eagle. But those are the two that you could count on to go win you some games.
Could step in seamlessly.
Yes.
And the thing is, Skip, knowing Tom Brady's injury history, which is small with the exception of 2008, why do I need it? Stidham is not going to even play.
Okay. So, on the play in question, the run for the first down, can we please hear what Tom Brady had to say about said play after the game?
I think those are important plays. So to get a first down conversion on me scrambling, I'm sure the defense coordinator is like, what the heck? This is not, we got to stop Edelman. We got to stop White. We got to stop the run game. We got to stop, these great players. And all of a sudden, Brady for a scramble, that's got to piss him off pretty good. So I revel in that.
Reveled in that.
Loves it.
That's what you do.
3rd and 3, and he got 3.
That's-
And I must say, he has boasted via social media that he slightly improved his speed over the offseason. I saw on that play, if we could see it one more time, he looked a little quicker than I've ever seen. No, he looked quicker.
Skip, look at
Quicker. That's
Skip, look at
quickness.
Skip!
Did you see the? Wait. Did you see him feint and go? He gave it a little head fake right and
Ain't nobody
cut left. For
Ooh.
Tom Brady, that's some quickness.
It looks good
That's
to me,
different.
Shannon.
You know what?
Speed.
That's different. He graded the quickness. Again, remember where he was coming from. He was coming from way down here. He was the slowest, and he got a little less slow. That's what happened.
Skip.
Right?
Tom Brady increasing his speed is like an elephant losing 50 pounds. When you weigh 6 tons, does anybody notice? When you that slow.
I noticed that.
That is a mean
He
comparison.
gave it a little head fake and cut.
But
he cut on a dime, or maybe on a quarter. Maybe on a 50 cent. Maybe on a silver dollar he cut, right?
Skip, all I saw was head moving. I didn't see no shoulders or nothing. But
I did.
That's all I
see.
saw
Look at
right
that.
here.
Look, watch this.
Wait for it.
Oh, did you see that's a little head fake?
Fell for it.
It was a little cut and go.
That's simple.
Huh?
So what's he gonna do? He was gonna shovel past the ball? I mean, why you bite the basketball fake you on the football
Okay,
field?
so there are going to be 4 or 5 key moments and 4 or 5 real games this year where he will have the guts to do that.
Yeah.
Will he take a lick? Remember what he did against Kansas City last year in the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Well, he got 2 of them. He did one in New England, and I think he got another. Well, that was New England. He scored that touchdown.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And now my other takeaway from last night was, did you see what Tom Brady was wearing
Loved that
as he
hat.
spoke?
It was a nice lead.
Oh, looked good.
And he acknowledged, because he was asked about it, that it was his cam hat. So in honor of the quarterback across the field, who we're going to talk about in just a minute here, he's saying, aha, I'm going to wear a cam hat tonight. Okay, this is just this isn't my 2 cents. This is my 1 cent from a distance.
Okay.
If I can play armchair psychologist, I believe Tom was saying before a preseason game with that look, the cam look, he's saying to everybody, I want you to remember the quarterback across the field from me tonight is everything I am not. He's bigger, he's stronger, he's way faster, his arm is much more powerful than mine, but look what I'm doing at age 42 in spite of my deficiencies.
Stealing.
Right?
Somebody else's style. That's what you're doing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, biting
well,
another man's style.
when he was asked about it, he said, well, I don't wear it as well as Cam does.
He did.
But he was sending a message to everybody, remember what I'm doing at age 42 against that young man.
Yeah, I can tell he's 42 because he got a billfold in his back pocket.
Okay.
Nobody carried billfolds in back pockets but grandpas.
Okay. Well, you got it. But you know what? He looked like he was 22
No,
last
he
night
didn't.
on the football
No,
field.
he didn't. That's
And he
running.
got quicker on the football field.
Running looked like he was 52.
So he's reminding everybody, hey, by the way, that Cam guy across the field, he's struggled a little bit, but I'm still going. I'm still firing here, right?
Yeah, you don't got nothing to say about that billfold in his back pocket, huh? You know, do you carry a billfold in your back pocket? You do not. You do not.
Every once in a while.
No, you don't. Don't try to.
If I wear jeans on a Saturday.
No.
Because the billfold won't go in your front pocket in tight jeans.
What you wearing tight? What you wearing skinny jeans for?
I can wear them because I can get away with it.
You go to those skinny jeans?
Yeah, because they enhance
Normally-
as opposed to expose somebody else.
First of all, Skip Bayless, if I see someone with a wallet in their front pocket,
Yeah.
I automatically assume they're from the Northeast. I'm thinking New York, I'm thinking Philly, Jersey, because they don't want to get pickpocketed on the subway.
Hey, in my years, 10 years I lived in New York, I learned stick your wallet in your front pocket
Yes.
and keep your elbow on it.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's what I learned about that.
Yeah.
But who cares? Does Matt carry a billfold in his back
See,
pocket?
the only thing
know.
you can pick at Tom Brady
Haven't seen
for
one in a
is he's
while.
got his wallet in his back
Yeah,
pocket.
don't do that.
That's
Don't do
all.
that.
I
Don't do
love
that,
the
Tom.
hat. Would you
Okay.
wear a hat like that?
I might get me a hat like that. Get me a lid.
I feel
Wide
like you
brim.
could rock that.
like that.
I love hats.
Okay,
so.
now back to Jared Stidham. He has also looked, he hasn't looked as good as Daniel Jones, but he's had his moments. He is even more athletic than Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Not quite as big as Daniel Jones, but he's got some capability to be a quality starter in this league.
Right.
I'm also going to remind you, not this game, but the previous preseason game.
It's Detroit, right?
Yeah, he threw 3, it was against the Titans. Remember,
okay,
they had
Titans, yeah,
practice
yeah,
against
yeah,
the Titans.
yeah.
In that game, he threw 3 balls that, to my eye, looked like they could have been picked, but 2 could have been returned for pick 6 interceptions. So the point is touchdowns. So the point is that, are you sure, Bill Belichick? Because to me, this was blatant, because I'm going to give you the numbers again. Jared Stidham through the preseason, and I assume he'll continue to do this in Game 4.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think he'll
yeah,
play?
he's playing. Absolutely, he's
Okay,
playing.
he's now 43 of 62 attempts, okay? So he's thrown 62 passes.
Yeah.
Tom Brady last night threw 12, and I'm pretty sure that's it for Tom Brady,
wrap.
right?
That's a wrap.
Okay, so it's 62 to 12 in pass attempts. That's plus 50 for Jared Stidham. You don't think he's showcasing, fast-tracking Jared Stidham? And I also remind you...
Showcase him to trade him? Showcase him in the...
replace Brady. This is the next Brady.
Okay.
Right? And I will also remind you that last year, shockingly, Bill Belichick asked Tom Brady to play 69 preseason snaps, 39 in Game 2 and 30 in last night's dress rehearsal Game 3. Okay? 39 and 30. That's 69 snaps.
Right.
Tom just played the first quarter last night, and that's a wrap.
Well, maybe that's all Tom needs.
Okay?
You say, he's younger, he's stronger, he's faster, he all that, so he don't need all them reps.
And I'm also going to remind you that Tom looked terrific last night with obviously no Gronk, but there's no Edelman, no Josh Gordon, no Demaryius Thomas, no N'Keal Harry, their first-round pick, No Braxton Berrios, who's looked very good in the preseason, and even he didn't go last night. So who are you throwing to? You know,
Philip Dorsett.
Philip Dorsett and that Jacoby Myers kid that they undrafted out of North
And
Carolina
the tight end made some plays.
Yeah, he's a second-year kid named Ryan Izzo, and
yeah.
he made a catch on that dart that
Yeah.
Brady threw, that lightning bolt up the seam on that little skinny post to the tight
he looked
end,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Looked good. That was a shot. Look at that. Ooh.
He did the right thing. He got down. He saw Eric Reed coming.
did?
Eric like to have another body.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Tom Brady, that looked like a 22-year-old, didn't it?
22 might be a bit generous.
Hey, how about
Skip.
28?
Okay, 28
I
works
think
for
it's more
me.
like a 40. It looked more 40-ish than
Did it?
42, yeah.
Boy, it looked
You
good
look
to
good.
me.
Nothing to be concerned about. It's going to be a fun season for you, Shannon.
Very
We
interesting.
got to talk about the latest with the Cowboys. Are they any closer to a Zeke deal? We'll discuss the latest next.
Whatever.
No mercy.
So Zeke's holdout continues as the Cowboys prepare for their third preseason game tomorrow night. Negotiations are still ongoing, and the Cowboys have reportedly offered Zeke a deal that would make him the second highest paid running back in the league. That would put the All-Pro just behind Todd Gurley's latest deal, but ahead of Le'Veon Bell's deal. There were reports that Zeke was in Dallas last weekend, but if that was true, then it appears he's back in Cabo now, getting set to train with Hall of Fame running back Marshall Faulk. So Shannon, will Zeke's deal get done before week 1?
It will, Skip, and it looks like, you don't know all the reports, but let's just say for the sake of argument,
All right.
he's willing to take a deal somewhere in between Todd Gurley and Le'Veon Bell.
Okay.
Because the Cowboys have made it abundantly clear they're not trying to reset the market. They believe that the Todd Gurley deal is an outlier contract. I believe Zeke, had he had 1 year, Skip, he would probably have a better chance, but because he has 2, because you remember, Skip, how long it was before a defensive player eclipsed the Ndamukong Suh number. It took Aaron Donald and Khalil Mack being in the last years of their deal. Khalil Mack was in his option year, and Aaron had 1 year left. So if Zeke had 1 year left, Skip, there's no question in my mind. But I believe now Todd got 45 guaranteed, Le'Veon is 35 guaranteed. Zeke looks like he's going to be somewhere in between, say 40 million guaranteed. See, for me, if I'm Zeke, athlete how I think, Skip Bayless, I ain't do no holding out to be the second highest paid. Like, I didn't play to be the second best tight end, or I didn't play to be the second best anything.
Okay.
If I take the steps that I took, I'm trying to be number 1. Why did I do it? Zeke, don't acquiesce. Make him give you more than Todd Gurley. That's what you should do, Zeke. That's what I would do if I was advising him, which I'm not. But number 1, Todd Gurley got $45 million. I want $45 million and $1.
Okay. So it sounds like Shannon Sharpe across from me is crumbling and giving in to the fact that Zeke is going to be a Dallas Cowboy week 1 against the New York Giants.
Because he's crumbling.
Oh.
I don't know that to be true, but
Right.
if his hold, Skip, I believe Zeke held out, and you believe this too, because he wanted more money than Todd Gurley. Now, if he's unwilling, if he's like, okay, y'all won't give me Todd Gurley and I'll accept something else, okay, yeah. But I thought he wanted that. I thought he wanted to reset the market. Because what we're seeing here, Skip, if he doesn't reset the market, it's going to be a while before it get reset. Because the next great running back that's coming up is who, Skip? Saquon. So that's 2 years down the road after this year for him. So if Zeke doesn't reset it, it's not going to get reset for another 2021, 2022. So that's what I was thinking that he was going to do. That's what Le'Veon tried to do. That's why he held out against Pittsburgh last year. He wouldn't take the franchise tag. He wanted to keep the market going up. Well, the NFL, the teams have said, nah, we're going to stagnate this thing. And it looks like Zeke is like, okay, y'all not going to give me Todd Gurley money? Okay, I'll take a little bit more guaranteed money than Le'Veon.
By the way, just point of order, the next great running back coming up just could be Tony Pollard, but I
Oh, my goodness. There you go, Skip. You need to stop.
or Mike Pollard, whatever you want to call him.
Either or.
Call him whatever you want to call him.
He won't mind.
Just call him potentially
Marcus Pollard,
great.
Bernie Pollard,
Yeah,
it doesn't even
whoever
matter.
it is.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I've told you from the start, I will never bet against Jerry Jones when it comes to cap management
have.
or negotiating. I tend to close my eyes and wince when he makes football moves because they haven't always proven to be great. Although with the help of Will McClay, they have gotten much better.
Well, he out of that business because Wilman's knocking it out of the park.
I hope so. He is knocking it out of the park and right into your lap over there, right? So Jerry is going to figure this out. And because of the mentality, the psyche of number 21, who wants to play football for the Dallas Cowboys, because it's a great stage. It's perfect to be doing this on.
Right.
That Jerry knows that there will be some compromise on both sides before this ends, and it will end the week before the season. I told you I won't even start to get anxious. Wake me up on Labor Day, because we will be up because we're going to be right here. Right?
We'll definitely be up.
So be sure and wake me up at 2 a.m. because I'll be here. And on that day, I'll start to get a little bit of buzz about, I don't know, maybe it's going to happen today or tomorrow or maybe Wednesday at the latest, but it will happen.
What happens if it doesn't?
Well, I don't want to even deal with that. I don't deal in hypotheticals. I just deal in gut feelings, and my gut is that Jerry always gets these done. And I keep harping on the point he made, now it's like 3 weeks ago. They want this to happen. We want this to happen. And when two parties want something to happen, it happens.
Yes.
Okay?
And it seems to me, Skip, if he's going to be willing to be content with being the second highest paid running back, and he's highly motivated to get this done, the Cowboys have always been motivated to get this deal done, Skip. They've always wanted to take care of Zeke, but they didn't want to take care of Zeke at the number Zeke wanted to be taken care of. Okay,
I got it. So here's the point. We saw Jerry in angry mode 2 days ago, and I told you, I've not seen him much angrier than he was. And that was because of the shot Rocky Arsenault had taken back about, we didn't find that Zeke comment funny. We found it disrespectful. And remember, I have earned the right to joke with Zeke. Well, then Jerry took a strong stance. He had his backbone up about team first, and we're going to do this the right way. Well, obviously, that's at complete odds, just diametrically opposed to what Jerry wants the most in the world, which is to win either this Super Bowl or maybe the next one. Right?
It is funny. I find it very ironic, Skip, that Tony Romo did not get a team-friendly deal. Tony Romo was the highest paid quarterback.
Yeah. Okay.
And they want a hard time on Dak. My guy, Dak.
I think Jerry's learned some hard lessons that way.
He did.
Okay.
Jerry used to just throw away money.
All right. So Jerry has that internal clash of, do I want a Super Bowl or do I want to show that I'm the Patriots? That we're going to have a Patriot-like salary system. The Patriots got a huge break because Tom Brady keeps saying, I'll take a huge discount.
Well, he didn't say that this time. Bill said, I'll give you a little something. What you want? That's what Bill said, I'll give you a little something.
Okay. Well, maybe that will lead to a departure. So, on one of their parts.
And you going to cry. If that would have happened, you would cry.
Well, if Bill's gone?
No. Bill ain't going nowhere. Bill ain't going nowhere.
So here's the point. This is where Jerry is incredibly creative and incredibly persuasive when he gets involved in the negotiation because he is the deal closer.
Right.
Even though he can be the bad cop to Steven's his son's good cop, the bad cop can come in the end and suddenly turn, arms around you good cop.
Yeah.
And say, let's just get this finished right now. And he's going to throw him some bones because he's got 3 bones he could throw him on the Todd Gurley deal.
Right.
Again, it wasn't an outlier deal. It was an outrageous deal because the Rams, I think even now, off camera, would admit to you, I think we overpaid on this because he's already at risk to have bad knees, right? Okay, so you have 3 shots here. Todd Gurley got $21 million just as a pure signing bonus.
Right.
Well, you could give Zeke 22. You could start right there.
Okay? Now we talking, Skip. Now we talking.
Okay. $45 million guaranteed. That's the big one to swallow.
Right.
Ooh, 45. So, but again, you could give him 46. Would that close the deal right here, right now? Yes, it would.
Absolutely.
Or you could finagle it somehow because Todd makes 14.4 on average per year. Well, you could somehow pay Zeke 14.5 a year just to give him something to hang his helmet on, just to say, I got that.
Right.
I got I got that.
Right.
Okay, so you have 3 areas of a deal where you could say, I got a little more than Todd did, this way. Now, which is more team friendly? I don't know. This boggles my mind to try to figure this out. Maybe it's the signing bonus. Maybe it's the upfront where you say, wow, I I got $22 million to
Right.
sign. I'm
and
good.
And that's, Skip, that's what you want because you give him the big bonus and then you prorate
You
it
prorate.
because you did it like a Jalen Smith.
Okay.
Jalen Smith's going to make $800,000, but he probably got $25 million to sign his name.
Okay.
So the cap numbers over the first 3 years is going to be very, very friendly.
All right.
So you do something like that with Zeke.
Where he can walk in the locker room with his chest.
Yeah. Y'all see what your boy did.
Which one would you want if you could take
Give me
one
that
of
money
the
up
three?
front.
You want it up
Give
front.
me the money up front.
Okay.
Look,
Signing
I
bonus.
don't care nothing about no 45, no 47.
You want it now.
I need how much money I'm getting to put in my hand.
Okay, well, then this could close
How
this
much-
deal
I mean,
quickly.
that makes
just
a
need
lot
to-
of sense.
Well, not my hand. Well, how much are you guys go direct deposit?
Direct
what I
deposit?
did. Yeah, direct deposit.
Oh, you just.
I didn't even know you did that.
You have discovered that. in the
Yeah,
last
well,
year.
I thought that was
well,
a
they
new-
have a choice, you know. They kind of like, no, we're not going to be sending you. We're paperless here at Fox.
Bags of money.
I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I need to skip. You know, it's just something about
It's pretty
seeing it.
cool. You
And
can
it's
Would you like to see
just
the check?
materializes right there.
No, Skip. I'm just used to like, you know, used to work the job and the man like, okay, well, here you go. And I just see my, I'm like, dang,
I did
15
that.
bucks. I worked the whole week, got
Got
15
that.
bucks. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I just got used to seeing it. But
Yeah.
it's okay
We've
now.
moved on from
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Jerry will close this deal. This is Jerry's Super Bowl, and he will win it. I'm not saying they're going to win the real Super Bowl, but he'll win his.
Oh, and if I'm Dak, said, okay, well, since y'all save some money on Zeke, y'all need to give me that money that you saved on Zeke.
Next domino.
Yeah, what you do,
That'll
Skip?
be the next
Amari's making
domino.
13.9 this year, so maybe he can wait a little while. And he'll
Oh,
be
well,
the
you know, Mari said,
fourth
hey, Mari gonna want, because they want Julio and A.J. Green, all them boys coming.
Yep.
That's what Skip,
different
that's what really
discussion.
Amari is waiting on. He's trying to see, okay, where's Julio, where's A.J.? Because the top five now is about to get reshuffled. So you're like, oh, you want to make me top five? Well, look with Julio.
Shannon Sharpe continues to voice all this wishful thinking because the worst case
don't
scenario
matter.
is everybody gets signed and everybody's happy and Shannon's unhappy.
You can sign everybody you want, but I still have two things working for me in my favor, Skip Bayless. Your head coach and your quarterback. Those have not changed.
I will give you the head coach. The quarterback will make you
We will
eat
not.
all
No, he
those
won't.
words.
No, he won't.
Don't have time to get into that, guys. We have to talk about a different quarterback. What is going on with Cam Newton? Should the Panthers be concerned? We'll discuss the latest next.
No mercy.
Cam Newton's shoulder appeared to be good early on last night, completing his first 4 passes, but Cam was sacked on his 3rd series, came up limping after the play. He was able to walk to the locker room on his own, but his night was done. After the game, Cam was wearing a walking boot, and now reports are saying that it is only an ankle sprain, but the 2015 MVP will undergo some more testing today. Shannon, how concerned should the Panthers be with Cam's latest injury?
They should be very concerned. And it's like with most quarterbacks, most teams, Skip, they're quarterback driven. And when the quarterback goes out, it substantially hampers your ability to win ball games, especially because you're so reliant on the quarterback. But for me, Skip, this issue still hasn't been addressed. They can't protect him. Now, that injury, that's Cam. Cam, throw the ball away. Why are you trying to make a play in the preseason? Bruh, no hero ball in the preseason.
Yep.
None, 0. If it's not there, 1, 2, 3. Hey, if I'm going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Hey, check it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not there. Check it down. Throw it away. I'm not trying to play any hero ball in the preseason, Skip, because I'm not going to give them an opportunity to put me on the ground. But this offensive line is not very good, Skip, and they can't protect Cam. And they were just sloppy last night.
They were.
It's as simple as that. And I don't want to, put it all on the Panthers offense. But the Patriots, they do have a good defense, Skip, but they did not look good. And I'm a firm believer, if you limp into the regular season, you'll limp out of it.
Yep.
You can't get healthy playing NFL football if you come into the season injury, Skip, because there's not enough time in the day. Because you got to be out there, and it's just a grind mentally, physically, and emotionally. But the Panthers should be very concerned that they still haven't found a way to protect Cam, and Cam still needs to understand there's a time and a place for everything, and the preseason is not the time or the place for hero ball.
I will give you this. The Patriots were all over him from the start, and he did try to extend a couple of plays way too long, where he was asking for more and more trouble. But
Yeah.
by the way, your guy Chase Winovich from Michigan, he's going to be a factor for them. He
so
was playing
happy
with the
for him.
ones last night.
Such a
My
good
guy
kid.
Adam Butler from Vanderbilt University, he was the guy who sacked him on the play in question. Now on the play in question, I couldn't see what went wrong. It
Right.
didn't look that dangerous to me. I don't know what you saw, but
No.
I couldn't see what happened to his foot. But the point is, I'm going to just throw this out, and I hope I'm right about this in a very negative light. I'm hoping that Cam just, like he's rebelling against the preseason like a lot of other, like his body language said from the start, I don't really want to be out here. And if that's true, and if he was slightly exaggerating how hurt he was, I'm good with that because that would mean he's not really hurt. If this is serious, which it could be he was in a boot.
Right.
Was he being over dramatic about it? Was he, over dramatizing?
They seem to be overly cautious now. They put everybody in the boot, Skip.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a bloody nose, they'll put you in a walking boot. I mean, Jesus Christ. Come on, guys. I mean, it's not that serious. I mean, I never got in a walking boot. I left a lot of stadiums with sprained ankles,
Yep.
Skip, and never got in a walking boot. Now, the least little thing, a guy got a walking boot, he got a sling, he got a cat. I'm like, geez.
It looked to me like he just wasn't into it last night, and it was compounded by the fact that they could not protect him. But his body language was not good.
No.
And this has been an ongoing issue for this franchise. He's clearly the best player.
Yes.
He's the face of the franchise. You have to live up to it and set a tone for everybody
Right.
else, the way Brady does. And I don't want to throw Brady up against Cam because it's not a fair comparison. But Cam has shown through stretches that he can be really good in this league.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He won an
If-
MVP.
Yeah.
He got that team to the Super Bowl. It did
15-1.
Yeah, 15-1. And what was he that year? 35 touchdowns to 10
picks.
interceptions.
Wow.
Okay. Since then, look what's happened. He went 19-14, then he went 22-16, and then last year 24-13. He was hurt, and he supposedly got it fixed. I hope he got his shoulder fixed.
Right.
But that's over the last 3 years. That's a grand total of 43 interceptions. That is tied for first in the National Football League. Well, obviously that won't work.
Now, you can't put the
Right.
ball in harm's way that many times.
Not
and
that
expect
many
to win.
times, which is why among qualified quarterbacks, he's 21st in winning percentage over the last 3 years because they just haven't been very good,
Right.
in part because he hasn't been very good. That's not the whole
Right.
show, but again, so this was going to be a bounce-back year, and that wasn't a good launching pad last
Right.
night because I'm pretty sure that's the end of his preseason.
Right. Yeah, I don't think any of the starters are going to play in the final
Yep.
preseason game. And so you Skip, the last time when you step on the field, I just remember when playing with Mike, and I always go back to this, Skip, is that he's like, guys, you know you're not playing in game 4. Let's put our best effort
Yeah.
to give us something positive going into the season, Skip.
Right.
We're going to put, he was going to call plays like this. He and Coop was going to call plays like a regular season game, and we were going to approach it. We were going to we're going to go no huddle. We were going to do things that we would do in the regular season because we wanted, we ready, because we're not playing next week, but we needed that confidence. Okay, we ready to go play. We good.
Did you ever step on even a preseason football field and not have some sense of urgency?
Oh,
about
no. Oh, no.
Didn't you ever, every time you step on the
Yes.
field, even in the
Yes.
preseason, didn't you think, I have pride in
Yeah.
what I'm going to put out
Because
there?
I'm getting graded, Skip.
Yeah.
And I'm getting, they're watching, other teams are watching. I know Mike was watching because we had cameras in the locker room, had cameras in the meeting room. So if I know he's watching everything that goes on, when we're not on the field, I know damn well he's watching when we're on the field. At Skip, my thing was I wanted to put my best foot forward. I know if I was going to be out there 5 plays, I'm going to give you 5 plays of effort. If I'm going to be out there 10, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to make sure I'm doing my best because somebody's watching. And I never wanted the guys on my team to be like, man, Sharpe dogging it. He dogged it on that one. Nah.
Wasn't the kind of player you were.
Nah, you just, and I get Skip, but we're going to talk about it later, but this preseason, we got to,
We are going to
something got to
talk
be
about
done.
it. Yeah, something does have to be done.
It has become open rebellion against preseason games. And Cam probably fell into that group last night because his body language just said, I don't want to play in a preseason game.
You know what the preseason's getting like, Skip? The Pro Bowl. It's becoming
That's
unwatchable.
true. That's a good analogy.
I'm
Yep.
glad. We're going to stay talking about this. We need to decide, we need to go through the real reason why players are missing preseason games. Antonio Brown, Aaron Rodgers, the entire Rams team. Why are they doing it? James Harrison is here. He's going to help us next.
No mercy.
Rams coach Sean McVay made waves earlier this week when he said that preseason games are not worth the risk, and that sentiment was on full display in last night's Raiders-Packers game. Not only did superstars Antonio Brown and Aaron Rodgers sit out, but the game itself actually had to be played on an 80-yard field due to safety issues on the field in Winnipeg, normally used for CFL games. Kind of a disaster. We are joined by FS1 NFL analyst James Harrison. Good to have you, James. So, how can the NFL fix preseason? What is the solution here?
It's no fix for preseason. I feel like you need the preseason. You need game speed. You need game reps. You need game conditioning. It actually helps guys such as myself who were in situations where I was undrafted. I really didn't make the team until the third and fourth preseason game.
He was seventh round, and it took...
It exactly took the last
That's a
preseason
very
game for
good
me.
point.
Right. So, you have some guys that practice at a high level, and you watch them in practice, and the coaches are like, he's doing it. And then you get into the game, and he can't raise that level because his practice level is his game level. And most guys that play in this league, they raise their game level. So you have to be able to go out there and see that. I understand with him not wanting to play your starters because once you get to that level and you're established and I know what I can get from you, then I'm okay with you not playing in the preseason.
Right.
The thing is, the NFL wants to have their stars out there. The fans want to see that. They want to give the fans what they want to see. And with the new collective bargaining agreement coming up, like they want to be able to go in there to these networks and say, hey, we got starters that are playing either in the preseason or we got 20 games now for the regular season. So all of this is going to push towards them getting a 20-game. It's going to be still 20 games, but it's going to be 18 regular season games.
Right.
Why? Because you're not playing your starters. You're telling me right now you're not going to play your starters. But at the same time, the guys, like I said, that aren't established, that don't have that first, second, third round draft choice coming in, they're no longer going to get those opportunities to go out there and shine.
You're right. I don't know how they fix it. I was thinking about you cut it down to 2. See, because here's the thing, Skip. Owners want that revenue. It's not like they charge 50 cents for a Coke in the preseason and $10 for a Coke in the regular season. It's 10 and 10. 10 in the preseason, 10 in the regular season. They're not going to let you take these games away.
And just for the record, season ticket holders are forced to buy 2 home preseason
Well, it's called
tickets.
season tickets, not regular season tickets. I mean, come on.
And
All part of it.
And those cost just as much as
They just exactly. So they're not going to be willing to give up those games, Skip.
Nope.
And we're not having some source of revenue now. If you can find some way that they can get an extra $50 million in their pocket without playing 2 preseason games, well, they're going to agree to that. But as I was telling Skip, we were going to the break, James. I was like, the preseason has come like the Pro Bowl. It's become unwatchable.
Right.
Because they started two-hand touching, and the NFL thought about even cutting it out. Until you can't, and they tried everything. You can draft players. AFC players cannot be in the NFC. NFC could not be in the AFC. But Skip, now that you don't have these guys, I mean, it used to be you might have 1 or 2 guys, main guys, that didn't play a whole lot in the preseason. Now all 22 don't even play in the preseason. I'm like, what is this? It used to be like if you missed a preseason game, you knew you would have lit. You're like, okay, I'm big time. Now I ain't got to play the pre. Skip, now you got guys like, hold on. This dude's a special team and he's not playing. He's that valuable. Like your quarterback, running back, but now they won't play anybody, Skip. And it's like, I can't even watch the game because I'm watching the game and I'm looking at like,
yeah, you sure enough can't evaluate.
Yeah, how? Skip, they're going to have to do something with this CBA. If I'm the players, I don't even, we can talk about preseason going down to 2 games, but if we're going down to 2 games and y'all talking about 18, what are y'all going to be willing to give up, Skip? Because they keep saying safer, safer, safer. Okay, they keep making cars safer. The seat belts and the restraints and the airbags. But guess what, Skip? They keep putting bigger and bigger engines in them, and they're going faster and faster. So how much safer can you make a car if you get 20 airbags, but the car can go 250? Well, how much safer are you going to make the game if you increase the game and increase the collisions in which they're going to take? You got to trade up.
You just spoke wisdom. I've been covering this game longer than you guys played it, and I am so with what you just said. These are necessary, if you want to call them evils, but they're necessary because you need to get ready for what's about to hit you between the eyes in game 1.
Right.
Because then everybody's going to take it up one more level. and especially as young players, you just need the RPM of a real game, even if it doesn't count.
Yes.
And as a fan, I am a nut fan. Listen, I watch preseason. My wife was all over me last night. You're watching like 7 games at once. Give it a rest.
Right.
No, I want to see who flashes. I want to see Daniel Jones and Haskins, but I want to see Tom Brady last night. How does he look? Is he going to fall off the cliff? What's going on with Aaron Rodgers? Oh, he's not going to play? I thought he was going to play. What are they doing up there? Now, why the NFL didn't fix the holes in the end zone before they got there, I don't know, but that's a whole other issue.
Yeah, right.
But Gruden left half his team at home already.
Right.
So it's,
So you telling your team already, Skip, we ain't taking this game serious.
We're not taking it seriously.
Right.
So now we have not only young players, but young coaches, starting with Sean McVay, saying, out. I don't want to do this anymore. It's just too dangerous. Well, it is football, right?
Right.
You didn't sign up to play football to
Exactly.
start with. And I'm going to go real old school with a quick reference here because the guy that I got to know, one of my old favorite players, was named Leroy Jordan for the Dallas Cowboys. You probably remember him. He's probably a little before your time, but he was a middle linebacker for Bear Bryant at Alabama, and he's in the College Football Hall of Fame, and he made 5 Pro Bowls for the Cowboys and was the NFC Defensive Player of the Year one year and is in the Cowboy Ring of Honor. He was a tough guy, old school middle linebacker, and he once told me, and I never forgot it, he said, the harder I play, the less I get hurt.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you go into a preseason game saying, I want to do this, I'm going to tiptoe, I'm going to try to dodge every bullet around me.
They'll get you.
They'll get you. Somebody's going to get you because you're not ready for what's coming. Everybody's too big, strong, fast. Somebody's going to get you.
Yep.
And so we have these rash of injuries. Rashawn Gary, rookie. The
Bay.
Packers, I think they carted, I didn't see this, but I think they carted him off last night. Well, was his heart in it? I don't know what happened, but the kids today, starting with the kid coach for the Rams, they're just saying, we're out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you brought it up yesterday. Okay, if you're out now, it's pay me now, pay me later. You're going to have to pay when this collective bargaining comes up because they're just going to, Jerry Jones is already negotiating the collective.
No question. You're saying, hey, I'm sitting my starters.
Yeah.
I'm not playing my starters. Well, if you're not playing your starters, we got 20 games.
Okay, here
no
we
matter
go.
how you look at it,
whatever
it's
you
20
want.
game season,
you
okay?
can slice your pie however you want to slice.
Give us 18,
Yep.
and we'll let you get 2
Okay.
preseason games.
Okay.
But we need something to give to our fans, to give to these sponsors, so that we could get this money.
Right.
And if you want to make more money, we got to get more money.
Okay.
That's the only way it's going to happen.
I remember in my rookie year trying to make the team. We played. They put me on kick. They put me on kick return. So I'm up in the line. Now we practice all the time, but they're not going full speed.
No.
So we just catch it. We play Seattle in Japan. I think I'm gonna catch it like we
Right.
did in practice.
Runs through
Dude
your
ran
chest.
right over the top of me
Yes.
and made the tackle. I was like, okay. So now I don't know how guys do it. I couldn't be one of those guys that last game was in January. And then my first game, my meaningful game, was going to be the regular season. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I need reps. Yeah. I need to get out there and feel the adrenaline of the crowd and that intensity and be in empty formations and going through everything like it was an actual game,
Right.
even though it's the preseason.
Yeah.
So, hey,
I need to go out there and I need to feel the actual game intensity. I need to
Yes.
feel this guy wanting to make this team.
Yes.
Wanting to feed his family. Not practice where I'm just doing whatever I want to do
Right.
and guys looking out for me. He don't want you to fall, don't want you to hurt yourself. I want a guy that want to go out there and try and
Right.
dog me.
Right.
And I want to feel that and know that when I get into this first regular season game,
Yeah.
I done went through that whole process.
You
I
did.
understand that. And that's why in the offseason, you have to train crazy. You have to do things that once that regular season game comes, your body is used to the irk and jerk. You're not just saying, okay, well, we're going through practice. I never exerted that tremendous amount of force trying to get away from somebody with my adrenaline running in a regular season or preseason game, against another team.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're getting a lot of the soft tissue injury things where guys are messing up things. Now, the actual, collisions where you get something tore, that could happen in the regular season. And I understand the coach is like, hey, I don't want to take that chance in the preseason. I done paid this guy too much money. I got too much on the line to see him go down in a game that means nothing.
Okay, well, get ready.
it's going to happen.
18 regular season
18
games.
regular
That's
season
where we're
games.
heading.
But I need something internal. I need something. The players got to get these tags, franchise and transition. They got to be done away with. 3-year minimum guaranteed and lifetime medical benefits.
They need to stop the fifth-year option for
Oh,
all
yeah,
these
yeah,
rookie
yeah,
players.
yeah.
Like it should be no more than 4. The fourth year is the option.
For the rookie deals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you give you 4 years and then you got a
4,
fifth,
and then you got a
option.
fifth option. Like you're not free to your 5th year. Like
We
if you're a
talked about
first rounder, okay, give me 3 years with a 4th option, but I can't give you that.
I mean, technically, Ezekiel Elliott.
7 years.
He's
You
got
get the
5
option
more
and
years.
you
Right.
get 2 years of franchise
Plus, I can
tag.
franchise you. I can do all that for another 2 years.
Well, somebody conceded all that about
did.
10
Well,
years ago.
somebody, yeah.
Well,
somebody
that's what
conceded
happens,
that.
Skip. See, that's what happens when you got, I got kids that go to private school and they want their money. And I got a mortgage payment. See, them owners, they straight. They ain't got no mortgage payment.
No question.
You play in the NFL, you got a mortgage. You got a mortgage. You got kids in school. You got them owners, they ain't paying no bill. They ain't got no bill. Their bill is you, paying you, and you not working. So they ain't got to pay you, but they still get their money.
Changes need to be made.
Yes,
Every day
absolutely.
listening to you
And that's
guys,
the
it's hard to
NFLPA.
believe that it is this way, truthfully, when I listen to everything that you guys talk about. It's crazy. Always good stuff from you, James. So, the Eagles, Shannon, have they found their new safety valve for Carson
Safety
Wentz?
net.
You
Wentz.
that's you. That's
Wentz.
all.
Foles
If
the
it's up to
second.
this
Go
guy,
ahead.
we'll discuss. No.
Second.
No mercy.
How about this? Josh McCown's Eagles debut couldn't have gone much better. The 40-year-old quarterback went 17 of 24 for 192 yards, 2 touchdowns, most notably this highlight pass to Stanford rookie J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. McCown came out of retirement, signed with the Eagles over the weekend after injuries to 2 of Philly's backup QBs. So, Skip, what did you make of McCown's performance?
Shannon Sharpe. I'm here to publicly admit that when I turned off the Eagles game last night, I sat back and I said, they're just better than the Cowboys. They are so loaded with new weapons on offense, as well as their old weapons on offense. This could be the best offense in football, depending on the performance of your quarterback.
Oh, walk into him?
Yeah, limp it to him. I'm watching Arcega-Whiteside, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, a second-round pick out of Stanford, and I watched him at Stanford, and he is a red zone monster.
Yeah.
He's a former
They normally just throw him jump balls.
jump balls. He's only 6'2", but he can leap, and he just looked like a flat-out stud last night. You just watch him run where you just say, uh-oh, that guy can play, right? I thought Dallas Goedert as a backup tight end was really good. I wanted Dallas to draft Dallas. But now, I mean, they only have Zach Ertz, and now they got that, and Darren Sproles is back. And wait a second, you've got Jordan Howard in the backfield now, and you still have Alshon, and you still have Aguilar.
And D-Jack.
And now, wait, Deshaun Jackson is back?
Yup.
Seriously? And Pro Football Focus says the Eagles have the best offensive line in football?
Yeah.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. That's an embarrassment of riches in Philadelphia, except for maybe the quarterback.
Don't do that, Skip.
Not sure about the
You
quarterback.
should be very sure.
So, again, I've told you before, I'm going to say this again. The Eagles should win the NFC East.
No, say it again.
Wait. Let me finish. They should, but they won't because of the quarterback.
No.
My quarterback versus your quarterback, it's going to come down, and my quarterback beat your quarterback twice last year. He dramatically outplayed him in 2 fourth quarters and an overtime.
I want you to rephrase what you tried to
Okay.
say and say it with me slowly. Eagles will win the NFC East.
I will not say
That's-
that.
I mean, you wrote a lot of headlines, right? Did you write a lot of headlines?
No, I don't. I didn't.
Did you write the
I
headline?
didn't write my headline.
You didn't write the
Sorry.
headline?
No.
Okay, well, they're good. So that you should
Speaking
have
of
no problem.
headlines, I read this one yesterday on ESPN.com. Thank you for setting me up for that. Headline, ESPN.com. Carson Wentz was burdened and in pain. Here's how he left that behind. Well, that's debatable. Did he really leave it behind? Long story, good story. I read every word of it because I was engrossed.
Of
by
course
it.
you are.
know,
Anything that might
absorbed.
be negative
As you
about
should
Carson
be.
Wentz.
So the lead is about how Carson sat down with his spiritual mentor, his family friend, his pastor, and he let everything out. God bless him. I hope that this is true that he did. And the quote from Carson was, I don't want to say that I was in a negative light, but I just sometimes let the stress get to me. The injury stress, the lack of performance kind of stress. I told you there'd be games where I'd watch him and he just looked antsy and nervous in the pocket. and he looked a little deer in the headlights. And the reason I think he might be a little nervous right now is because the story also points out that every time Wentz walks off the practice field at the Eagles facility, heads to the locker room, he passes through a corridor where a life-sized image of Nick Foles stares back at him from the wall, part of a tribute to the Super Bowl championship of which Foles was named MVP. So he walks off the practice field and he looks up, and a life-size Nick Foles is looking back at him, reminding him, wait a second, that guy did win Super Bowl. What? When I read this, I thought they should just take that down.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you should.
That's just not fair.
Oh, it is kind of weird.
You only got to take it down, Skip, but you can move it.
Okay.
So
you could put it. You don't have it right in his line of sight where he has to walk off the practice field after a bad practice and say, God, would he have stunk it up like I just did?
That's kind of weird.
And Malcolm Jenkins, their veteran leader, said that, meaning that life-size cutout there, has to have some kind of effect on you. Well, yeah, I would say so. Nick Foles, by the way, looked pretty good last night, but Josh McCown looked even better.
Eagles, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
What person you know gonna let you have a life-size cutout of your ex up in the house? That's what they got. They got a life-size cutout of the man ex up in the house, Skip Bayless. Man, they got to do something with that. If I walk into him, I say, y'all got to get that up out of here.
Unless he's bigger than that, he's just so good, he can just rise right above that life size. He can turn it into a non-human, just a big bunch of paper.
They can move it, Skip. They can put it somewhere else where it's not as visible. That doesn't diminish what Nick Foles accomplished, and you're glad that he did. You got an opportunity to win the Super Bowl. But it doesn't have to be in the man. It doesn't have to something that he has to pass every single day.
So here comes Josh McCown, which I thought was an extraordinary, shrewd pickup by them, because obviously the two kids, the younger quarterbacks, both got hurt behind Carson
Another
Wentz.
reason people don't want to play preseason games.
Okay, there you go. And yet, here comes Josh McCown, 40 years of age, very close to Alshon Jeffrey because they had a rapport when he was a Chicago Bear.
Yeah.
And boy, you were talking about showcasing last night. They let him have his head. He's just rocking and firing. He threw 24 passes last night and completed 17. And Arcega-Whiteside, old JJ, he had 9 targets and caught 8 for 104 yards and a touchdown. And I'm sitting back saying, you know, Josh McCown's looking a lot like Nick Foles used to look.
Stop it, Skip, baby.
I'm just telling you.
We read this book.
Yeah.
We just read it.
We've been reading it for 2 straight playoffs. We read this book.
And what's happening, Skip, is that no matter what, Little Red Riding Hood, whether you read it in Spanish or Russian or German, it doesn't matter. It's still the same.
Really?
Yeah, the big bad wolf is trying to eat Little Red Riding Hood.
I never read it.
Well, I'm just saying.
No.
It's the same.
Not Russian.
So
French, maybe?
we know who and what Josh McCown is. He's 40 years of age. He's played, 18 years in the league.
Yep.
And guess what, Skip? His teams has never made the playoffs.
But he did step in for Jay Cutler that one year in Chicago, and he out-Cutlered Cutler down
Did
the
they make the
stretch.
playoffs?
No.
Okay,
They
then.
were really good for about
Forgot about
5 or
that.
6 games.
They were great, and I thought they should have kept him and moved on from Cutler, but they didn't, and they probably wish they had. But that's neither here nor there. Skip, he's not the answer. Now, he's a stopgap.
Well, he might have to be the answer if limping to him gets hurt again.
Hopefully, walking to him, he can stay behind that offensive line, and he knows he can't play hero ball. Get the ball out of your hand. There's a time and a place for everything. You don't have to get every first down. Throw the ball away, and if situation call for it, you scramble and get it. But he can't take those shots. He can't put his team. He's too valuable to his team in order to put himself in harm's way to try to get an extra 3 or 4 yards or to get a big time completion. There'll be time and a place for that, but you got to be very, very careful of that.
So how did Nick Foles become the Magic Man, become so beloved in the locker room? Carson just couldn't stay healthy the last 2 years.
Well,
right?
he had a situation where Carson Wentz stunk it up. Not Carson Wentz, but Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Your guy. Did you remember what he did when he came to the NFC Championship game, Skip? Stunk it up.
That defense was flying.
No,
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Don't do that.
Yeah. And Nick Foles was magical in
People-
that game.
people
That was one of the best playoff games I've ever seen any quarterback play.
It was so bad out there, people thought Waste Management had went on a strike or something. That's
Really?
how Case Keenum was stinking
That
up
is
Philly.
harsh.
Yeah, exactly. He stuck it up just like that. And then
He'd just thrown the Minnesota Miracle.
And then he got a situation where he says, you know what? If I can just stay toe-to-toe, if I don't let old Tom Terrific, if I don't let him go run and hide and just get him to the fourth quarter, because I know he'll make a mistake. That's the mistake that people make with old Tom. They don't let him. Make him play all the way to the end, because he going to give you one. But they didn't let him do that. So.
Really?
Yep.
Nick Foles hung 40 on Belichick.
Don't do that, Skip.
40. Could Carson Wentz have hung 40? I think not.
He's about to hung 47.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz has played how many postseason snaps in his career? 0.
That changes.
0.
That changes.
This is why
this year.
I continue to tell you, your quarterback has the most pressure of any quarterback in football on his shoulders this year.
Oh, no, it's going to be your quarterback, because as soon as you get that $35 million, you know with $35 million, that's supposed to be automatic Super Bowl. Can you imagine the pressure? Because all the great quarterbacks in Dallas got them. Troy got 3, Roger got 2.
Speaking of contracts, walk it to him. Already walked right into his, right?
70 mil.
He got a record $108 million. We're talking about Todd Gurley got 45. He got 108. Nobody in football has that much guarantee.
He got about 75, 78 at the time of signing. So he put his name, he put walk it to him. That's what they heard he ain't going to change his name to.
Really?
Walk it to him.
I don't even know what that means.
You do know what it walk it. Oh, when he throw them old long TD passes, they look like handoffs to me.
Really?
I can't tell if I'm like, did he throw that? Or did he run down there and just place the ball in the man's stomach?
Really?
Yeah, that's how he got the name Walk It To Him.
Boy, he placed one in the wolf hunter's stomach.
What
It was fun.
The Wolf Hunter
Yeah,
won't
it
get one
was,
this
it
year.
was going back the other way.
Yeah, I tell you what, the Todd Gurley placed his helmet, him and CJ, in the Wolf Hunter's stomach.
Yep.
You remember he was on the sideline? Dry heaving.
So I'm always slightly skeptical when I read stories like this on ESPN.com.
You ain't
or wherever.
skeptical. No, you're not.
Skeptical about these big
Which part?
transformations in the
Oh.
offseason.
Yeah.
You know, he went vegan. He dropped, they said, maybe 10, 15 pounds.
What?
Or so. He does look slimmer. I'll give him that for sure. And he's just like cleaned up his whole psyche and life. And he's a new guy. He's a new man.
So what?
You buying it?
So that's the only way you can clean up your life is stop eating meat?
I don't know. He said for two months he did not eat beef. And
But
this,
now he's
this is
still
a
vegan, or-
game hunter here, you know.
I mean, I can give it up for 2 months,
Yeah.
Forever.
but I ain't.
Yeah, but you.
Why would I do that?
Vegan.
Interesting.
So
I
is
don't
he
know.
going to play vegan this year? Yeah, I don't know.
Vegan products don't taste too tasty.
Yeah.
You have to be
Well,
creative.
nobody has more offensive weapons than your quarterback.
And
Surprised you
Nobody
admitted
has
it.
a better offensive line than your quarterback.
And nobody-
makes more money than your quarterback. Can he live up?
and nobody's going to win more games than the Eagles
Yeah.
in the NFC.
We'll see about that. They should win the division. but
They
won't.
will.
And it'll come down to my quarterback over your quarterback because that's what happened last
Well, your quarterback, you said your quarterback's going to be higher paid than mine. So who's going to have the pressure? The pressure will
I don't
shift.
know that he will. He'll take a little Brady-esque.
Hey,
hometown
no, he
discount.
ain't. No,
Hey,
Todd
well,
France ain't going to let that happen. Todd France is not going to let that happen.
He might.
That's one thing about quarterbacks.
In the end, it's not the agent's call, it's the player's call.
Well, he could have. Well, the story is they got between 30 and 32 on the table for him right now, and he ain't calling them back.
Well, he
He said
might.
he ain't calling back. He said, I'm busy. Changed his number like 4 times.
It's still early.
It is still early-ish. The days are counting
The
down.
number you've called is no longer in service. If you feel you reached this number in error,
Your
please
only
hang
hope.
up and try again.
It's your only
Thank
hope
you.
that there's a contractual
Well done.
impasse.
Well
What
done.
difference does it make?
My guys are going to be happy on game day
Yeah, they
one.
will.
Yep,
Man,
happy.
You see that money walking to him got? He got about 80 mil.
But you know the number he sees? That 0 that Skip mentions.
He
in
about to have a 1.
playoff
He about to get a 1.
appearances.
1.
That one's the one that I think
First
on
playoff
the
win.
I tweeted late last night, if the Eagles make the wild card, how many games can Josh McCown win in the postseason?
Well,
Because
we-
that's what happens,
well, we
right?
don't-
That's just
Did
what
you really
happens.
tweet that?
I did.
Wild card don't
That's
even
smart.
matter. Don't
It's
even matter.
deep.
Very
Doesn't
deep.
even
I'm
matter.
sure some of those
Y'all
fans
not making
really
the playoffs,
liked it.
so don't have to worry about wild cards, home field, anything.
All right, guys, we're going to switch gears to Coach Belichick. Did he show us that he's game planning for life after Brady?
Yep.
We'll discuss next.
No mercy.
Tom Brady looked sharp as ever against the Panthers last night. The 42-year-old quarterback went 8 for 12 for 75 yards, but he wasn't only doing it with his arm. On 3rd and 3, Brady ran for a first down to keep the drive alive. That would end with the only touchdown of the game. After Brady came out, instead of veteran QB Brian Hoyer coming in, Belichick put in rookie Jared Stidham. Stidham played the remainder of the game. He went 15 of 19 for 134 yards, no picks. Interesting stuff. We are now joined by FS1 NFL analyst Mark Schlereth. Mark, what did you see from Brady and what did you see from Stidham last night?
I saw the Brady I see every single year. In a day and age where nobody plays in the preseason anymore, Tom Brady, 42 years old, go out, lead your team, played well into the second quarter. And I'm telling you what, same stuff. Manipulate the pocket, drive up in the pocket, threw a 25-yard comeback on a rope down the sideline. I mean, he looked like the same Tom Brady we have watched for the last 20 years. For
No drop off.
Absolutely no. I mean, I think he has more arm talent. You know, he works with Tom House where rotational force, like ground force, becomes rotational force. So you're throwing with the rest of your body. I think his arm looks better at 42 than it did at 22 or 23. Like that's
You
Tom
believe
Brady.
in that? This is from your ex-teammate. Right. This man's got rings.
See, the thing,
Right?
So does he.
That's what I'm saying. You're like,
We got a couple of them together.
This is a level playing field here.
But for me, I think the thing is that people like with Tom Brady, they're expecting him to all of a sudden one day wake up and he's Tim Tebow throwing the football. Right. That's not gonna happen. It's a gradual. It's a step here. It's a misthrow there. It's slow read here. That's how it is, Skip. It's not. Nobody just jumps into the ocean, and that's what you expected him. Well, I didn't see that. No, but Pro Football Focus, what they say, Skip. You love that. You always read. You always read to me what they say.
I told you how badly they swung and missed on Dak, right?
How they swing and miss on him?
Well, 17th. He's a top 10 quarterback, but go ahead. So they got Tom Brady number
in
one.
In college, you're top 10 in college, but you don't mean it. But what are you talking about?
Okay, so they said he took a step back, and I disagree with that. I didn't see step back last year. I saw him beat Mahomes twice and beat Aaron Rodgers, win at Chicago. I don't know.
But he beat Mahomes, but couldn't beat Marcus Mariota.
Okay.
He couldn't beat Matthew Stafford.
Were they in position to be the number one seed in the AFC last year?
I don't know anything about the number one seed.
You
I'm
do.
just saying, Skip.
Except for the Miami Miracle, right?
I think that the issue you get into as an older player, and you know Shannon can attest to this as I can, is your ability to recover, your ability to bounce back, your ability to every week answer the bell. Like that comes into question. There will be games where your body just doesn't respond the way you want it to respond, but like you manage those games, you get through those games still in pressure-packed situations, back-to-back Super Bowls, one he threw for over 500 yards. I mean, the guy can still absolutely sling it. So that part has not dropped off. And from the neck up, I mean, there's nobody better.
Okay. You know and I know there's going to come a point after he's 45 years of age where he would try to come out for preseason, and you would suddenly say, I'm not seeing the release I used to see. It's a little slower on the draw than it used to be, or I'm going to see the velocity dip 5 miles, 10 miles an hour. You would just see it because it just starts happening over time.
If it decreased 5 or 10, he better not take his butt out there and try to throw the ball.
All right, but I'm just saying, did you see that last night? No. Nope.
I will tell you what I'm going to see. I'm going to see him in another uniform next year.
I don't know.
For 3 years, you said he was going to finish playing football at the end of this year. So now we're up to the 4th year where now you've amended your prediction to he's going to still play for another team.
No, wait. But I did not anticipate that his dad, that he would ask his dad to intervene. He called his dad on the principal because he was being bad and the principal disciplined him, and he called his dad, and his dad handled that.
Was Dad right?
Now, I'm not saying that he's right.
Was he right?
The principal is Coach Belichick.
Okay,
he's not wrong. He runs a great school. He runs a great school.
Okay, so he would have gone with Jimmy G. Would they have the Super Bowl rings
Yes.
that they have?
You looking at Jimmy G in San Francisco. Look at Jimmy G in New England with that system.
Would Tom Brady have another Super Bowl ring elsewhere if he had been
It all
let
depends
go?
on where he went.
Yeah.
Where would he go?
Very possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he went to the right situation, Peyton went to the right situation.
Okay, so it is painfully clear to me that Belichick is now fast-tracking Jared Stidham to be the next Brady, to be the next Jimmy G, in that he gave him so many snaps in the preseason. Jared Stidham's now thrown 62 balls just in the preseason. Tom Brady's thrown a grand total of 12, and that's over and out for this preseason, because I'm pretty sure, unless Belichick defies any sort of conventional wisdom and forces Tom to play in Game 4. I don't know.
He messed around and put Tom out there, and Tom take a hit and get hurt.
Yeah.
He have to leave New England.
You think so?
They would run him up out of the. But Skip, they put that man in the 4th game, and you mess around and get, because anything can happen. He takes a fluke hit or runs and somebody falls on him. No, you're not running that
Deep
risk.
down, Bill would be happy.
He's
He
not
could
running
go
that
on
risk.
into the next era, because you know and I know before he's through, Bill wants the opportunity to show he can win a Super Bowl
absolutely.
without Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
Okay, do you blame him? I don't blame him for that.
I've always said, you think the egos are big in the locker room? Walk upstairs to the coaches' offices. Like,
Yep.
there's some egos. There's some egos up there too.
Everybody, Skip, everybody thinks it's them. I mean, we won Super Bowls, and the people that cut the grass, you know how that grass was. They had it right for y'all at practice. And people that bring the meals in there, man, them sandwiches was good. You remember that Thursday? I had them sandwiches right. Whoa, wait a minute.
Okay.
Everybody wants credit, Skip.
I like it.
Jared Stidham looked really good last night, but I warn you that in the previous preseason game, he threw 2 balls that could have been pick six. I will warn you, I watched at least 2 of his games at Auburn last year where he looked a little lacking of poise in the pocket, where he looked a little under fire and starting to come apart.
Well, I will say this, just based on last night's game. When I'm watching film, I don't watch it as a fan, I'm watching it as an analyst, and I always look for rewindable moments. Moments where I'm like, man, let me look at that again.
Right.
Like, I watched this kid manipulate a pocket very much like Brady manipulates a pocket. I have seen so many guys this preseason run themselves into sacks. They get pressure, they escape out the back end, they get torched, right? Where he gets edge pressure, he's walking up in that pocket. I saw one play where I guarantee you he scrambled 9 yards and never left the pocket. He scooted up, he moved to the right, he moved to the left, he found a window, and he completed a pass, threw a dig, threw with anticipation. But the big thing was how you manipulate a pocket, how you operate inside a pocket without ever actually looking at the rush, with just feeling the rush. I think that's an innate ability. And I saw that out of him, and it made me rewind the tape.
Okay.
I watched it this morning. I rewound the tape 2 or 3 times, watching him just, not even the throw, just watching him operate within a pocket. And I was impressed. And I also saw him self-sack himself. So basically, the guy had pressure right there and just kind of dropped.
Okay.
And I was like, that's a veteran presence. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be the next Tom Brady. I'm just saying I like that aspect of his game.
Could he
and it
replace
made
Tom
me rewind.
Brady next year?
Well, I mean, he would be, in my mind, I know what Brian Hoyer is. So would that kid, like, if he continued to progress, would that kid give you a better opportunity? I will say this about the New England Patriots, and I think this is important. They are in the business of drafting and developing quarterbacks, and they do it on a year-to-year basis. Look at all the quarterbacks that have gone on to play that they've gotten value from. Like, here's another example of, let's take a guy, let's see if we can develop him, see what he becomes. I mean, they got value out of Ryan Mallett. They made people think that Ryan Mallett could play, right? They do it every year. Matt Castle.
Danny Etling.
Jimmy G.
Yeah.
So, but for me, Skip, look, have we seen a quarterback really play bad in that system in New England? Everybody look good because it's that system. And Coach Belichick, you don't have to. You're not going to have to go out there and score 35 points because Coach Belichick's defense is not going to give up 35 points very often. A few occasions here and there, maybe 5 or 6 times in the course of 20 years. But if you don't turn the ball over, Josh McDaniels done a great job coaching those guys up, and that's his job. The one thing you can say about New England, they develop players. And they'll take, if they like somebody that's on another team, look at the linebackers.
Van
Noy. Mike Vrabel. He was in Pittsburgh. They took him and turned into a 3-time Super Bowl champ. That's what they do, Skip. He believes in his system. And
Tom Brady invented that system.
But that's not what Coach did. That might be true, but Coach Belichick doesn't believe that.
Yeah.
Right. You mentioned, Van Noy. There's a guy that was considered a first-round bust in Detroit, who's come to New England.
He's their best defensive player.
He's a
other than
great
Stephon
player.
Gilmore.
Yeah.
Of the front 7, he's the best player right now.
Yeah, you talk about development.
So this man is on the record earlier in this show saying Brian Hoyer will soon be cut and that Jared Stidham will be the backup quarterback going into Game 1. You buying that?
No, that one I don't buy. I think that you're still in the development process. I mean, remember when Tom Brady came into the league, New England kept 4 quarterbacks on their active roster.
Wow.
And I do not understand. This is a trend in the National Football League. We're going to keep 2 quarterbacks, right? Because of that, we need to keep that one special teams guy, that 53rd man on the roster. The last time I checked, they dressed 46. So that 53rd man on the roster never actually dresses for a game.
Right.
So why would you not keep 3 quarterbacks and develop a guy. I think they'll keep 3.
Huh. He's been there
So do
5
I.
seasons, right, Hoyer?
Brian Hoyer
Yeah.
is as valuable a backup quarterback
And doing
as there
what?
is in the
Because
league.
he's never going to get a chance to play.
Well, I
When
hope
that
he
time-
doesn't. I'm
But
knocking
knock
on
on
wood.
wood. I'm going to knock
He gets Brady coffee.
Yeah,
It's probably organic
But
coffee.
he knows it, and he
Do you
could step
think
in.
he
if
could
Sure.
win a
needed.
couple of games? You better believe he
Yeah,
could.
Jared Stidham, in that offense, with that system, Jared Stidham could win. He'd win the division.
Baloney.
He'd win the division. You said New England
Right
win
now?
the Steve.
I think
Sorry.
I think that that would be interesting. I'd love to see it.
So would I.
The Jets,
Same.
Remember, Castle went 11-5.
the Jets. Think about it.
But that team the year before was 16-0. So I mean, it was a 5-game drop-off.
But think about this now: Miami, Buffalo, and the Jets. That's their competition. And you don't believe.
Do you know
Stidham
what?
might be the best quarterback in that division outside of Brady. Why you talking?
Do you know what Greg Williams would do to Jared Stidham?
Oh, he gonna Brady gas on it.
Oh, he would light him up.
And you know what Coach
There'd be
Belichick?
some self-sack.
And you know what Coach Belichick's gonna do to the quarterback Jets?
Yeah.
Yeah, heat him up.
Okay.
He's
fine.
promising. He's
Yeah.
promising. Mark, thank you
You're
for
welcome.
joining
Thank
us.
you.
Another guy that I'm hoping is going to be promising, rookie Dwayne Haskins. Should he start for the Redskins?
You hope so.
I'm curious what Skip is going to say about this
Always
one.
self-serving.
Interesting. We'll discuss all that next.
No mercy.
We're back to it. Back to the NFL, though, where Ohio State rookie Dwayne Haskins and journeyman Case Keenum continue to battle for the Redskins starting job. Keenum got the starting nod last night and went 9 of 14 for 101 yards. Haskins came in to play the second half and was 7 of 13 for 74 yards. Neither quarterback had a touchdown or an interception. So, Shannon, who would you start week 1, Haskins or Keenum?
I'll probably go ahead and go with Haskins.
Good. Like
but
it.
He should start Skip. Because look, if this guy's going to be your future, and we talked about this earlier, the situation in Washington is a lot different than the situation in New York, because Eli Manning versus Case Keenum. Really?
True.
Are we trying to make that a comparable situation? No. We know what Case Keenum is. There's a reason why he's played for 5 or 6 different football teams, and he had that in the 99-year history of the NFL. He got voted as having the flukiest season.
By one guy.
No, don't do this. There you go. See,
by one guy.
All you try to do, I know what you try to do, Skip Bayless. You think no. It doesn't matter if it was what. The mere fact that his season is thought of as being a fluke.
You act like it was universally proclaimed.
I can make a strong case. If I get about 15 guys, I said okay, and give them a choice. Dak might be number 2 or 3, but that's not. We're not talking about Dak right now.
Okay.
Look, I understand that Haskins is a rookie and he's raw, but Case Keenum has not shown me anything that would make me think, you know what? Yeah, he got this thing locked down. But they probably would play it safe and conservative like everybody always do. I mean, you talked about how Baker should have started last year, and they started a Tyrod. They'll probably go along the same line. You start the veteran, and if he struggles, you bring the rookie in because you can always go back.
Big mistake not to start Baker.
They were not going to the
It
playoffs.
was.
Well, Skip, guess what? He gets to start opening day this year. He gets a fresh start. There's no Hugh around. Nobody even mentions Hugh. Now we're going to see what he's going to do.
You know, I used to love Hugh, and now I can't bring myself to forgive him for not starting Baker. And it wasn't like I didn't call it before. I
did.
said,
You
you
did.
got to.
Again, for what? The man made a decision that he thought was going to be in the best interest of the Cleveland Browns, not one player, Skip. I keep
And
telling
I
you
had
that.
to read that Hugh was soul-searching, went in his basement and slept for 3 days, and could have stayed for 3 months. Well, you brought it on yourself. I mean, come on, you should start the number 1 overall
You don't even
pick.
feel sad. You don't feel bad. You have no empathy.
You know, when Baker Mayfield, you could just see it in Hard Knocks. As soon as he stepped on the practice field, you just knew he was the guy.
You feel it.
He was just taking the whole
Yeah.
team over, and you could see the veterans responding to Baker Mayfield. And now he's ranked, like some of the surveys have him in the top 10. They have him 10,
10.
right?
Leadership, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just 10 in general?
I think 10 in general.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was 10.
Skip, what do you think the likelihood of Case Keenum ever having another season, if he plays 5 years, 7 years, or 10 years? What is the likelihood he'll ever put together another season like he had in Minnesota?
Okay, I'm going to tell you the God's truth. If Case Keenum starts game number 2 against my Cowboys for the Redskins at Washington, I will be far more nervous than if Dwayne Haskins starts game 2. I hope Dwayne, and nothing personal against Dwayne, but he is a rookie, and if you watch his first preseason outing, It was pretty disastrous. It was a hide your eyes
Sure.
night where he was just having a hard time. He's impressed me. He's got a live arm. Like he looks like a natural thrower of the football. It just looks right coming out of his hand. And he'll make 2 or 3 just like highlight reel throws a game where you say, oh, that looked good. I still have my doubts about what happened at the Ohio State last year. You were there for the Michigan game, and it was a wipeout.
I was around him a lot, yeah.
Oh, man, yeah. But, man, he had a track team of receivers. He had Paris Campbell and K.J. Hill and Terry McLaurin and
such a special
Dixon
group.
and the 2 running backs, Dobbins and now my Cowboy Mike Weber. It's pretty good. It was a loaded offense, good offensive line. Did it make him look a little better than he is? Now it sounds like the Redskins are just enamored of him. And so if you are, I'm with you. Just throw him in the fire. But I'm here to tell you, I'm still a Case Keenum fan. You can look it up. I have been from the start since his days at University of Houston, since his early days in this league. He's now 26-28 as a starting quarterback.
Is that good?
Well, it's not terrible.
It is terrible.
It is
He
not
under 500.
So he went 11-3 for a good football team in Minnesota, the Vikings, and then he went 1-1 in the playoffs. And he had one really good game in which he outplayed Drew Brees, albeit at Minnesota, but he outplayed him. His QBR was better, 68-55.
Had that one.
They both completed 25 of 40. Those were the numbers, except he was 318 to Drew's 294. He had 1 touchdown and 1 pick. Drew had 3 touchdowns to 2 picks. So the point is, he did slightly outplay Drew Brees on a really big national stage.
I love how you Skip was talking about, well, he's 26-28, so it's not that bad.
Okay, well, he's not a disaster. He wasn't a bust.
You're the type of guy that's overdrawn by $20. Well, it's not 50. You're overdrawn, Skip.
I've never been overdrawn in my whole life, not one
You're
time.
overdrawn.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, he's under 500.
Have you been overdrawn?
Well, I had an account set up that if I became overdrawn, they'd pull it from the credit card.
Oh, okay. And that happened?
Yeah, I mean,
What were you
I
buying?
was not good at balancing checks.
Oh, okay. All right. So you just lost track. It wasn't that you didn't have the money, you just lost track.
Right.
Okay.
Right. No. I ain't never had been in a situation where I didn't have the money in the bank.
All right.
Okay.
Case Keenum is dramatically underrated because he is
No,
a
he's
gamer.
not.
He's a gamer. He will fight you. He will scratch and he will
Oh, yeah, I heard
claw.
he's good at Fortnite,
Yeah.
Madden or something like that, but he ain't no football.
Okay.
You need to stop, Skip.
You know what?
You're trying to hype that man. You know
I will not sleep well before a Case Keenum start in week 2 against my Cowboys because I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen.
If he's the starter, the week they play the Cowboys, Ernestine's going to have to wake you up at like 10 o'clock in the morning because that's how well you're going to be sleeping if Case Keenum is the starter.
No.
You're like, I'm not even getting up to watch this game.
No.
We got this one in the bag.
I got to get up to run. I got to run.
Well,
He's not sleeping until 10.
Yeah, but that's the only reason you getting up. It's not because you're worried, like anxious pacing, as opposed to like if you playing old Tom.
I will not.
Or Aaron Rodgers. Now you playing Aaron Rodgers or Big Ben, you be up pacing.
No, my team will get up for those games, but I'm not sure about Case Keenum because he'll just dink and dunk you to death, and he'll make plays with his legs. He's crafty.
Your guy's
He's
the
sly.
dink and dunk CEO, and you gonna talk about somebody dinking and dunking.
My guy, once he got Amari Cooper, was 5th in the league in the last 8 games in air distance to completions. Air distance to 5th in the league?
Dink and dak.
Bombs away.
That ain't no bombs away.
He was 4th in the league over the last 8 games in long range.
And
touchdown
everybody know he
passes.
be dinking and dacking and don't nothing be happening.
You just haven't opened your eyes. And you haven't opened them to Case Keenum. Case Keenum is a pretty good NFL quarterback.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Solid.
Yeah. Very solid. And by the way,
I like Haskins, though, so it's hard. I kind of think you
This
should
is
go
solid.
for him if
This
he's
is
the
solid.
future.
I don't want to play in the NFL.
here's the point. The
What?
Minnesota Miracle, you got to make a lot of decisions on that play because you got 3 choices on that play, and he did go for the Stephon Diggs choice in the route tree, right? Did he not make a great throw?
But then why did he make every wrong choice the following week?
Exactly. It was the best day and then the worst weekend.
Yeah, got Jenny all upset.
I
Jenny
will-
thought she was going to the Super
I
Bowl.
will never forget.
Did anybody for the Vikings play well in that game?
We're
Did
not talking about
anybody?
that. We're talking about him.
What was it, 38-6?
Jenny even put out an old cheerleading outfit. Thought she had pom-poms and everything. Thought she was gold.
I was not a cheerleader type.
Yeah,
that was
you
not
totally,
my thing.
totally.
Not for me.
Raw.
Cross.
Yeah, come on.
No, you cheerleader.
Hockey. Lacrosse.
Yay!
No, that is not me. We're moving on
Holding up
to
the
Brett
sign.
Favre,
Go.
is he about to make a comeback? One head coach thinks so. Yeah, I actually said that. We'll tell you who next.
No mercy.
Time for our final topic of the day. Brett Favre played in the NFL until the age of 41, but could he still play at 49? Favre spoke to the Chiefs earlier this week, and head coach Andy Reid liked what he saw. Reid said Favre looks like he could still play. So, hey, let's start that rumor. Shannon, would you want to see Favre attempt another comeback?
No. Skip, you saw Brett in 2010, what he looked like his last year in Minnesota as a 41-year-old. Do you think a guy that's going to be 50 in October could actually play? And that's the mistake people make. They look at aesthetics. Man, he's lean. Man, he like he still play. Man, they break Brett Favre up. Just like they would break Shannon Sharpe up. Yeah, I look like I could play. Madden, PlayStation, that's the only thing Brett Favre or Shannon Sharpe could play at the ages we are. Brett Favre could not play one series in the NFL. No, because he take a hit and he shatter like ice.
So what does Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer, always tell me about why Tom Brady has lasted so long? Because they play touch football when it comes to quarterbacks. So would Brett break like ice when they can only touch him? When they can take him down with their pinky finger?
But see,
right?
you have to understand, Brett doesn't play the game like Tom plays the game. You know, Brett's barreling over the top. He gonna play that hero ball. Yeah, exactly.
At almost 50 years of age, I don't think he would try that.
That's in him. That's in you, Skip.
But hypothetically, even though he's missed 8 football seasons now, do you think he could wing it the way he used to wing it?
Oh, he can still throw it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Do you think he's in much better shape than most 50-year-olds are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably in better shape. He's probably in better shape than when he actually played.
That's highly possible.
But
But the rules allow Tom Brady to be thriving at age 42, says Shannon Sharpe. So why couldn't Brett Favre win a couple of games for an NFL team?
I tell you what, let Tom Brady play till he's 43, 44, 45, whatever it is, and then take 8 years off and try and come back and see what happens.
Well, I'd like to see. I'd watch.
Yeah, I know.
We don't watch. I just don't know how it would
Exactly.
end.
You watch like this. Oh, Tom, no, Tom.
No mercy.
Thank you for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Keep an eye out for the weekend edition of the podcast tomorrow morning, featuring this week's best segments. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.